Should know by now. She is a loud snorer for a little pup. Anyway, we're heading over now to Faries and Frosting. Back to our Ella and Alec. And see where the next story takes us. I will leave a link in the description to the book so you can go and have a look at all the wonderful books that she has, because she doesn't just have the Magicorum, she has many more that are very interesting, might I add. Anyway, Ella. I stand before Manhattan's Apex Towers. Imagine a Sharpie pen and a spaceship making a skyscraper, baby. That's the apex. My boyfriend, Alec, waits nearby. This place is huge, he declares. Hard to believe it's empty. Only the top levels are occupied, I state. My inside source confirmed everything. Right after Lady R bought the towers, she sealed off most of the floors. Lady R, aka The Lady, is the world's most powerful internet influencer. And when 1 billion folks follow your webcasts, it seems you can do kooky stuff with real estate and it's like no problem. We're here today so that the lady can interview Alec about his company, Le Charme Jewelers, and its upcoming Glass Slipper Festival. In less than a week, the festival will launch Le Charme's new product line and hopefully keep the company from going bankrupt. No pressure. I give Alec the side eye. Speaking of the lady, do you think she'll actually interview you this time? I'd say the chances are 50-50. You? By my calculations, it's 98% likely that she bags on us both. The lady requested my presence today because, as her email put it, Alec is Manhattan's most eligible bachelor, and everyone wants to meet his new woman. That's code for, I'll plug the stupid Glass Slipper Festival if I can ask Ella embarrassing questions, which is fine by me. Hell, I even shaved my legs for the occasion. But now that the interview approaches, a thread of worry winds its way through me, along with an ugly question. Am I really ready for 1 billion views? I inspect myself in the building's glass exterior. Blonde tresses, check. Blue eyes, check again. Nervous energy, check, 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 and check. For this part, Alex sports tawny hair and an easy smile. And her jeans and sport coat combo. Both of us are 18 in calendar years and 1,000 when it comes to life experiences. Case in point, Alec just escaped a magical prison hidden inside a gemstone. I'm not even kidding. I shift my weight from foot to foot. That dainty thread of worry is quickly becoming a transcontinental cable of anxiety. Why did I wear this outfit again? I'm not sundress girl. My style is more, let's steal things while wearing wacky disguises. I fluff my hair and turn to Alec. How do I look? Alec scans me carefully from head to toe, like a princess. That's a good answer. Going on tiptoe, I brush a kiss across his full mouth. Alec smacks his lips. That was the best part of my morning. Glancing down, he checks his watch. Sadly, the not-so-pleasant bit is coming up. Our interview with Lady R starts soon. If she cancels on us again, hey, she might not. Alec flashes me his best surfer boy grin. It's almost enough to derail my question, but not quite. Yes, she does. What new BS excuse do you think she'll shovel our way? Oh, good question. Alec rocks on his heels. So far, she's nixed us because of a bad hair day, rabid mouse in a bathroom, and a sudden case of pink eye. You have to give her points for creativity and lying. And I would know. Most of my days are spent conning people with elaborate eyes in order to unsteal jewellery. Long story. Alec purses his lips. I'm going with excessive cramping. Good call. I'll say alien abduction. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Alec's phone beeps. Now that he's CEO, he does that a lot. He checks the screen and winces. Bad news. The festival takes place in less than a week and... Alec flips the screen to face me. 56% of registrants cancelled last night. I scan the screen. Sure enough, that's what it says. Oh. Alex shakes his head. Why is this happening now? You know how stuff blows up on social media? Words going around about the festival and that it will suck, which it won't. We'll have music, fashion, and free cupcakes with cream cheese frosting. The last part is my idea. You can't cheap out on sweets. Alec resets his phone into his pocket and checks the top level of the apex. We need extra buzz for the festival. The ladies simply must come through today. I roll my eyes. Nah. Alex shoots me a look of mocking surprise. Nah. Nah. Alex's mouth widens into a sneaky grin. How can you meh me at such a time? Because even if a lady cancels, we'll still get the interview. It just won't happen with their active participation. In other words, Alec and I have a congeniency plan, which is actually more of a group caper. My speciality, you see. You're rather confident, that's what Alex says, but the gleam in his eyes adds that he wants to get me naked. And they're very much like that look. I step closer, pausing when our mouths are just a breath apart. I know we can do this. In truth, I'm not sure that we can accomplish anything today. Still, I never expressed doubts this early in a caper. It's just bad form. Alec bobs his brows. In that case, the sooner we enter the building, the faster we'll know what happens next. He offers me his arm. Shall we? I wrap my hand around Alec's elbow. Let's. As we step toward the entrance, I come to a sweet realization. Namely, I pulled off hundreds of heists over the years, but if the lady blows off again this morning, behold the masterwork. Alec and I sashay into Apex. The place reminds me of a science fiction movie where a space cruiser is set up for thousands of people, only there's no one around. The lobby is all empty benches, dry fountains, and echoing spaces. The walls are marred by the scraped-off signs from lost businesses. Every doorway and exit is boarded up, except for the fancy bronze elevator that reads penthouse level. A lone guard sits behind a twisted steel desk and pointedly blocks access to the elevator doors. He's a gangly fellow with odd carbuncle hair, an overly large forehead, teeny brown eyes, a ton of freckles. He looks up as we approach. Halt! Cries the guard. Alec and I stop in place. I give the guy a friendly wave. Morning, Reuben. As fate would have it, Reuben's red hair is the colour of perfectly roasted corned beef sandwich. It's enough to make me hungry. Reuben narrows his eyes. How do you know my name? It's written on your shirt, states Alec. Reuben checks his ID tag. Oh, I always forget that. He leans back in his chair. You two have magical auras. I can sense it. Yes, confirms Alec. We've had this conversation already. You met us both less than 3 times. Reuben holds up his super long hand. Now, don't interrupt me. Let me guess. I bite the urge to groan. Reuben is one of the many annoying things about visiting the Apex. The only tenant here is a lady. As a result, this guard has lots of alone time on his hands. He tends to drag stuff out. Reuben taps his pointed chin. You two are members of the Magicorum. That means you're either shifters, wizards, or fey. Which is it? He pauses dramatically before pointing toward Alec. Aha! You're a gemstone wizard who casts spells with diamonds, rubies, and the like. Am I right? Am I right? You're correct, replies Alex. Next, Reuben turns to me. And what would you be? Not a troll, I answer, only because that's what Reuben always guesses. I have it, Reuben claps. You're a troll. I'm a fey, but I'm not a troll. Reuben narrows his eyes. Are you sure? Are you sure? Trolls are what we call shadowcore. They're both nocturnal and not very human-looking. I gesture across myself. And I stay up late, but I got the human thing down. Reuben sniffs. Bah! If you could use a glamour spell to hide your true appearance, he drums his fingers on the desktop. With that, one thing is official. This is taking way too long. Waiting around isn't helping my already overburdened nervous system. So I decide to cut Reuben off before he gets to his next favourite subject. In case you're wondering, I begin. Alec and I are both part of the Magic Quorum, so we're also drawn onto a fairy tale life template. Mine is Cinderella. Alec is my Prince Charming. Reuben frowns. There you go. We know my fun. I wanted to guess your templates next. You don't say. A deadpan. I can still make a stab at your names. Reuben snaps his fingers at Alec. Ah, I got it. You're Alec Lacharme. That's right, Alec nods. As I tried to explain before, we've met previously 3 times. Reuben ignores Alec and then turns to me. And you're Bimbo. I roll my eyes. No, my name's Ella. Reuben scrunches up his face, but I thought Bimbo is what Lady R calls me. My real name is Ella. And we've covered this before too. Ah, Reuben nods slowly. I'll make a note so I don't forget that again. I can't help but notice how the guard doesn't write down a thing. Moving on, says Alex smoothly. Ella and I have an interview in the penthouse with Lady R. He gestures toward the datapad on the guard's desktop. Please activate the elevator. I need to check the lady's schedule first. Reuben flips through a few screens. Here it is. Excellent, says Alec. I knew the lady would come through for us. He steps toward the elevator doors. Reuben holds up his hand, palm forward. Not so fast. The lady must cancel all her appointments today. Dead goldfish. Bathroom funeral. It's a big deal. I can't believe this. Or rather, I totally can. Come again, says Alec. Did you say cancel? Yes, confirms Reuben. Didn't Grayson tell you? The way he says the name Grayson is how I imagine he says the words sort of like voluntary anemia. Here's the situation on Grayson. A member of the Magic Quorum, the lady is an elf with a Rapunzel life template. Grayson is a tower teeth, meaning the poor schlub who caters to the lady's every whim. Mostly, the lady does whatever she wants, never tells her so, and then uses Grayson as an all-purpose scapegoat. I know all this for the simple reason. For weeks, Grayson's been my inside contact at the Apex. I knew it. Reuben stares pointedly at me. Grayson didn't tell you anything, did she? It's like this, I reply. If you suspect that Grayson failed to inform us, then that's not what you shouldn't believe. Ah, Reuben frowns. I guess that's... one great thing about being fair. I know how to derail trains of thought. In this case, Reuben couldn't look more stunned if I hit him in the face with a baseball bat. Alex sets his hands in his right pocket. It's one of his best menswear magazine-style poses. Do you mind calling Lady and double-checking? Just to make sure, maybe a fish funeral's over. This interview is very important to me. In reply, Reuben slowly drags the morning paper across his desktop, scans a headline. Oh my, I'm just noticing this now? Sure he is. The guard flips around the paper so Alec and I can read it easily. Is this why the interview with Lady R is so crucial? There's no missing the big headline. Lacharme Jewelers almost bankrupt. And beneath that sits a small article that's not too pleasant. The Glass Slipper Festival in Lacharme's last chance to drive sales. But will anyone attend? You don't need to answer, adds Reuben. Your festival is almost here. The lady could really help you. Yippers, I confirm. Leaning forward, I set my palms on the guard's table. It's a power pose that I use in situations such like this one. Listen, babe, I begin. The lady needs to keep her word and do this morning's interview. It's bad luck to screw people over. She might get struck by lightning. Or a caper. Reuben chuckles. Just keep coming back. She'll let you in eventually. Maybe. Some folks have returned 50 times already. Wow, I state. Is that ever rude? When you have 1 billion followers, you can do whatever you want. Reuben flips over a glossy magazine and taps another article. Seen this? Again, there's no missing the brightly coloured text. Lady R is a market maker. She calls the bling me the hottest jeweller around, and the company sells 2 million necklaces in 24 hours. Yes, I've read the story, confirms Alec. Somehow, he's still working his sunny surfer guy vibe. Want to know something else? Asks Reuben. This time I reply, nope. Reuben keeps going anyway. The lady interviewed Bling Me the very first time they came here. The guard focuses on Alec. You should play the game. Ah, the game. In other words, The lady loves bribes of magical variety. She's an elf, but not a very powerful one when it comes to casting spells. The lady always asks for relics and potions that help with mind control and boost her viewship. But Alecs being on the receiving end of that kind of magic, needless to say, he won't play the game. Sure enough, Alex shakes his head. We've covered this before. If the lady wants payment for a time, that's fine. The Bling Me boys are regular humans. They pay in cash, but I won't hand over certain kinds of magic. What? Ruben's eyes widen. I didn't say the lady was enchanting people to watch her videos. And we didn't accuse her of that, I add. Although we all know that's what's happening here. And it's totally illegal. After all, if Alec could use magic to fix LeCharme's problems, he'd have done it ages ago. But the MITRE agency policies, the magic quorum, if you use spells to manipulate humans for profit, then you can end up in a supernatural jail. I don't want any trouble, Rowan points to the door. You two need to leave. Of course, says Alec. Turning in unison, he and I march toward the door. But in truth, we aren't going anywhere. This is the very outcome I'd been hoping for. Our crew and heist are ready to go. Operation Web Beastie is about to begin. Alec. Ella and I step onto the sidewalk. While we've been inside the apex, the morning has kicked into high gear. Clouds cover has burned away. The sidewalks and streets are filled with more traffic. Craning my neck, I scan the top level of the apex towers once more. The lady's up there. Sure, I'd hope she'd keep her word. That said, I can't pretend to be shocked that she backed out. At least Ella can launch her plan now. And my woman is ever more beautiful when she's working a caper. Before we dated, I spent hours watching security footage of Ella run my office. Love at first heist. You know what this means, I announce. Ella rubs her palms together in a universal hand movement of evil geniuses everywhere. Time for Operation Web Beastie. Of course, I know her plan by heart. That said, I adore watching Ella describe it. There's a special kind of gleam that shines in her eyes while scheming. It's hypnotic. Give me one plan, one more time, I request. There are 4 steps, replies Ella. 1, distract the guard. 2, take the elevator to lady's penthouse. 3, get past the apartment sentry and reach the lady's inner sanctum. And 4, convince the lady to talk up the glass of a ball in her webcast. Perfect. I pull it to me. My senses become overwhelmed with the delicious sensation of Ella's body pressing against mine. I slowly run my palm up her bare back. Did I mention how I like this sundress, I ask. Because I really do. Ella smirks. Keep touching me that way, and I might just skip Operation Web Beastie and drag you back to my place. It's tempting, I state, but I can't allow such lovely plans to go to waste. I run my nose along the lip of hers. Let's check in to our first step. Moving back, I pull out my cell and type a message to one of our accomplices. Magic Man. Hey, Elf Boy. Oh. Elf Boy is none other than Prince Jacoby, one of Ella's longtime friends who's now part of our crew for this mission. Jacoby, an elf who specializes in fortitude magic, which is the ability to leverage the power of large and often magical animals. I quickly type my reply. Magic Man. A lady bags on us. Elf Boy. Ugh, shocker. Jacoby then sends a gif of a cat coughing up a hairball. The flashing text reads, not. I chuckle. While we're planning this mission, Jacoby was convinced the lady would bag on us. I'm sure he had this cat retort ready to go. Magic Man, are you and Agatha ready? Agatha is Ella's stepsister. Contrary to the fairy tale, Agatha is really cool. She met Jacoby and now they're dating. Elf Boy, yep, just need the words. Magic Man, 1 sec. By referring to the words, Jacoby is asking me to type the special passphrase that will officially launch our scheme. Jacoby and Agatha are in charge of distracting the guard and activating the elevator. That said, these two have been very hush-hush about some specifics in the part of the scheme. It'll be fun to see what they come up with. I refocus on Ella. Jacoby's ready to go. Any reason not to give him the passphrase? Ella opens her mouth to reply. Yet before she can speak, lightning flashes across the sky, followed by a roll of thunder. I frown. This surprise storm is unexpected. Still, Manhattan is its own microclimate. Strange things take place here all the time. Pretty routine stuff. My inner magic disagrees. It senses a new power in the air. All the gemstones in my pocket change. Before they were light as feathers. Now the rock seems to weigh a ton. Fresh energy skitters across my skin. Closing my eyes, I tap into my inner power while grasping a few stones. Those enchanted rocks cry out in my mind. Beware the magic! Ella, do you sense anything strange? No reply. Opening my eyes, I find Ella standing perfectly still. Her eyes are glassy and unfocused. Worry pounds through my nervous system. What's wrong with Ella? Ella. All the lightning and thunder are downright odd. A heavy sense of foreboding fills the air. This is no freak storm. One by one, the people around me vanish from view. Pedestrians fade from the sidewalk. Cars sit empty on the street. The world becomes deserted except for me. Uh-oh. My mind churns through every type of spell that could be behind all this. I rule out an illusion enchantment. My mind feels perfectly clear. Then I'd notice a manhole cover pop up a few inches in the middle of the street. The yellow eyes of a troll blink at me before the cover closes, which leads to one conclusion. Not everyone is disappearing. That narrows things down. I recall another time when most people seemed to vanish with leaving certain kinds of supernaturals behind. It happened back when I was in Egypt and releasing ward of magic. Could ward of magic be at work again here? Like rain on the desert, magic has its own way of replenishing itself on Earth. Only instead of a downpour, magic uses folks like me. I was born with Fae, ward, and energy, which I eventually set loose at the pyramids of Egypt. And I wasn't the only one either. Alec did the same. For warlocks, his friend Nox released the power of shifters, and my bestie bride discharged some of, all three types of magic. But I'm the only one with any ward and energy left. Call it a side effect of my magic coming from the Fae. We never do what's expected. With every passing second, my remaining ward of magic goes more nuts inside me. It's definitely reacting to a power all around. Within seconds, my body feels so jittery, it's as if I was sticking a fork in an electrical socket. And yes, I had to do that once on a heist. Not cool. No question about it. This is active, warded energy. But what's it doing? Suddenly the ground rumbles beneath my feet. Great obelisks break through the pavement, their towering shapes filling the landscape. Each one is clear as glass. Then they all change. The obelisks transform into hefty trees with brown trunks and branches that are heavily laden with emerald leaves. The streets and buildings of New York melt into green grass and dark soil. One second I stand in Manhattan. The next moment I'm surrounded by a forest. It takes me a full minute to adjust to my new environment. Crows caw as they fly through low branches. The overcast sky sends shadows all around. Every so often, multiple bolts of lightning burst inside the dark cloud cover. I tried to cast spell after spell, hoping to figure out what's going on. Nothing works. I can't even get so much as a single sparkle of fairy dust to show up. So annoying. Then I catch the sound of rustling nearby. A fresh wave of shock zings through my nervous system. I'm not alone. I step around in a slow circle. Hello? Long seconds pass before a man's voice reverberates through the shadows. Greetings, Ella. Sometimes all my years of experience with the seedy side of life just pay off, because in this case, a mysterious dude only said 2 words. Greetings, Ella. And yet, it's still enough for me to know the guy is totally evil. Fortunately, I have rules for such situations. The first is to get the bad guys talking. If this mystery man were going to attack, he would have done it already. Instead, I'm guessing this evildoer wants to blab. Happy to oblige. It's tempting to ask what's up with this magic forest, but that would be a rookie mistake. In situations like this one, it's best to start off with easy questions and work your way up. I cup my hands by my mouth. How do you know my name? Everyone knows Ella Cinder. You're the girl who poisons everything. You're not really a Cinderella. Not even a genie. No true power moves through you, whether Fae, Witch, or Warden. set my fist on my hip. I have extra powers because I'm super fabulous, which is a bit of a lie. Some days I'd like to fit in a neat box that's marked Cinderella, or Genie, or anything, but that's not me. In general, the fact doesn't bother me until some Hassad brings it up, like this guy. I force in a few calming breaths. Focus, Ella. The fact that this mystery man knows my name means he's done some research, which is no big deal. The guy could open a web browser and discover the name of Alec Lasham's new girlfriend. That said, getting my magical profile is a bit trickier. That's not exactly common knowledge. I have my rogue warden energy, but that's not all. From my mother, I inherited fairy summoning magic, which I use to get help from small animals. My father, well, he gave me enchanter powers that I can tap into and connect with, alongside other witches and wizards. However, thanks to Grayson, I happen to know that the lady has all this info too. So it's tough to find out my magical history, but it's not impossible. Which brings up an idea. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced the lady is somehow teamed up with this mysterious guy. After all, I get dragged to his magical forest right outside the apex. Coincidence? I think not. What do you want from me? I ask. To watch you fail yet another time. So you're what? My supernatural stalker. Not by choice. It's tempting to say that's because the lady is making you do this, sucker. But that would give away that I'm onto him. And there's no benefit to me revealing that yet. So I quickly reply, non-committal. I mock frown. Poor you. I should say so, adds the man. Being close to you is a dangerous place to be. No one stays near you for long, do they? Your mother died of cancer. Dear Daddy expired from a broken heart. Before, I thought it was intrusive for this guy to know my magical profile, but this level of information is way more than personal, it's cruel. Alec is next, don't you think, adds the man. Once he's gone, what about your precious friends? As the saying goes, off with theirs. My analytical side wants to focus on that last phrase, off with their heads. That's a saying associated with the Queen of Hearts. The fact that the man is using it now feels important. But my thinking side doesn't stand a chance at this point. My emotions are too riled up. Mostly because I do feel like I'm poison to anyone around me, and I often wonder if Alec would be safer with someone else in his life. It's the same way with my friends. My temper quickly hits a boiling point. I want to strike back. And the only weapon I can think of is the knowledge of what's really happening here. You think you're so clever, I declare. I've already figured out who's really pulling your strings. The lady. Well, you can tell your mistress that it takes a lot more than some nasty talk to bother me. In reply, I'm hoping for a snide remark, maybe even a curse or two thrown in my direction. But the mystery guy starts laughing instead. The lady, yes. And who might that be? A Rapunzel life template who lives in the Apex Towers. Does that ring any bells? No. And if I did know some Rapunzel, so you seriously believe she could control me? If so, you're even dumber than I thought. My heart sinks. You never know for sure with bad guys. But my instincts tell me that this guy really doesn't know the lady. How could I have misjudged this situation so badly? If this isn't a magical scheme with the lady, then what's at work? Lightning bolts strike the ground nearby, startling me. Peals of thunder boom in such force, sets my ears ringing. Around me the trees turn back into glassy obliques before sinking into the ground again. One final flash of lightning strikes. This time, the bolt is so bright that white splotches blot out my vision. When I see again, I find myself back on the Manhattan sidewalk. Alex stands beside me, his eyes are wide with worry. Are you all right? Yes, I reply. What happened to me? I found you staring off into space. You didn't hear me when I called for you. I've seen spells like this at work before. You were catonic. How long was I like that? Less than a minute. He pulls me into a hug, still scared me half to death. I lean into his embrace. Alec is a good hugger. I got pulled into a magical forest. Some creepy guy said he knew me and was watching me. Any idea who it was? At first, I thought the lady set up, but, later, I decided that theory is crap, honestly. I have no idea who this guy might be. Alec's features turn unreadable. Do you want to call off this morning's caper? And he means it. With so much on the line, Alec really could cancel everything for me. Never. I lift my chin. Let's do this. Alec checks his phone again. Jacob is still ready. Should I give him the passphrase? Type away. Alec thumb speeds over his cell phone as he both recites the phrase out loud and gives it to Jacoby. Begin the badassery. A moment passes before Alec meets my gaze once more. It is begun. At first, nothing happens. Then Jacoby's familiar voice echoes down the sidewalk. Cashby, Cashby, come here. Turning, I follow the source of my friend's voice, and I gasp at what I find. Sure, I suspected that Jacoby would involve some kind of large animal in his diversion, but I wasn't prepared for this. Suddenly, all I can see is Cashby. Alec. New Yorkers barely notice the unusual, yet the locals do stare at a colourful baby elephant who marches down the sidewalk. Soon a small crowd of followers start to watch. No one even notices Jacoby in his black pants and matching t-shirt, which is saying something. As an elf, Jacoby exudes that kind of tall, dark and handsome mojo that humans find fascinating. Cashby parks right before the Apex front door, blocking all entry. The human parade stops as well. Some folks snap selfies. Others chatter excitedly. Time for the next phrase of the plan. And this bit uses magic. Jacoby raises his hands to waist level. A sphere of power appears between his palms. Humans can't see this orb, but it contains magic that will hide Cashby from all humans, except Reuben. The sphere bursts and the spell is cast. The humans around Cashby meander away. Even better, they all clear out their phone pics as they go, which makes this one of Jacoby's best creations. Its casting not only hides Cashby, but it also erases any digital trace she was ever here. As for me and Ella, we speed to our preset reconnaissance spot. The Apex offers plenty of hiding places in its twisted metal outer frame. Ella and I conceal ourselves in place, where Reuben can't see us, yet we can watch both the guard and Cashby. She really is a cute elephant. Seconds later, Reuben rises, crosses the lobby, and shoves the door open. It isn't easy, but the guard is eventually able to squeeze outside. What are you doing here? Asks Reuben. Isn't it obvious? Jacoby gestures toward the elephant. I'm giving Cashby a walk. This isn't a dog. Jacoby shoots the guard a sideways glance. Why would you think it's a dog? Are you quite all right, sir? I'm fine, says Reuben. You're the one walking an elephant. Excellent, Jacoby beams. So you accept this isn't a canine? Progress. Allow me to explain some basic facts about pachyderm. To begin with, elephants have more than 150,000 muscles in their trunks. Ah, Jacoby, Ella sighs, as a friend continues his tirade. I've been on the receiving end of Jacoby's teacher mode. He can do this for hours. I nod. This plan is moving along well. With this realization, a fresh round of excitement charges through my limbs. I'm not a singing man, but I have odd temptation to belt out "We Are the Champions." Next up, Agatha. Ella's stepsister slips out from her own metal hiding place. She has red hair, green eyes, and the kind of grace that only elves can manage. With fast motions, Agatha pulls up a new sphere of power and tosses it toward the building's exterior. A door-sized hole instantly opens in the lobby's glass wall. A moment later, Agatha is inside the building and casting another spell. This time, the shimmer of light means she's changing her appearance. Agatha becomes a perfect replica of Reuben. Yes! With the guard occupied and Agatha in place, it's time for Ella and I to enter the Apex. We use the same process as Agatha. Within seconds, Ella and I stroll up to the guard's desk. Sure enough, Agatha looks just like Reuben, except for her eyes, which she's kept a vibrant shade of green. Your appointment is confirmed, says Agatha Reuben. Allow me to open the elevator. Agatha taps a few codes into her datapad. The metal doors slide open with a soft chime. Enjoy your interview. Ella beams. You're amazing. I wink. The green eyes are a nice touch too. Agatha blushes. Thank you. Ella and I enter the elevator. The moment we're inside, my phone buzzes. Sadly, there's no need to check the screen. It's surely another message from the board of directors, begging me to sign the bankruptcy paperwork for Lacham Jewelers. Images appear in my mind. I picture the thousands of employees and their families. Some have served Lacham for more than 40 years. And then, there are the 7 dwarfs who dig up our gemstones. They've been Lacham's miners for centuries. Closing Lacham would take away their purpose in life. For dwarfs, that's a magical death sentence. This interview with the lady simply has to work. I shut off my phone and focus on the task ahead. After all, River was right about one thing. Bill Me started off as 2 guys in a basement. But thanks to the lady, they're now a multi-million-dollar company. If I can just get the lady to keep her word, then Lacham might take off as well. Ella. Ding! In my mind, another elevator starts with a cute little chime, but at this moment it feels more like a booming of a cannon. Mostly because it signifies that we're now in phase 2 of the master plan. Get past the interior century. In other words, Alec and I to sneak past by Grayson. Since she's my accomplice, you'd think this would be easy. Not so. The elevator doors quietly slide open to reveal our problem. The reception room is a large space whose walls appear to be covered in half spheres. It could be a funky style thing, but it isn't. Behind every half orb there sits a 180-degree camera. All video feeds go to the lady, and she controls the exits as well. The only way we're getting past Grayson is with another diversion that's so overwhelming the lady won't notice as we leave. Once Alec and I step out of the elevator, the reception chamber goes dark. A spotlight beams down from the ceiling, surrounding Alec in a halo of light. A voice echoes through the darkness. Welcome, Alec Lacham. You have been granted an audience with the great Lady R. Another pillar of light cascades onto me as well. Hello, Ella Cinder. The lights flicker on to reveal a large and empty space. Sure enough, there's no furniture here, only walls that are covered in half spheres. Now I know what it's like to be surrounded in a bubble wrap. An elf stands in the centre of the room. She wears a formal gown from Fairylands and holds both a pink pearl and a white sceptre. Her face is pleasant and soothing, but not startlingly beautiful like many elves, and her expression is completely unreadable. It's Grayson. I have to hand it to this girl. No one would suspect. She's been my inside contract this whole caper. Welcome, she says. A dark look sparks in her green eyes as she adds 5 words. I shall now explain everything. Many royal elves have their servants recite a little speech before allowing visitors in their homes. It's a way of saying, hey, look at my fancy pants. Sure enough, Grayson launches into one of those tirades with the same level of excitement I wielded while shaving my legs this morning, which is to say, none. I am Grayson Eyre, a tower teeth. This item, she raises the pink pearl in her right hand, symbolizes my eternal servitude to the great Lady R. You may now ooh and ah at how lucky I am. Alec and I share a dry look. She can't be serious. A crackle sounds as hidden speakers come to life. A shrill voice echoes through the large room. Heed the ugly wench! Do what she says! That would be the lady. At the mention of the word ugly, Grayson visibly shivers. It looks like the lady hit a nerve. In my opinion, Grayson has a gentle beauty that doesn't call attention to itself at first. She's more the quiet kind of gorgeous that grows on you over time. The lady's voice sounds once more from hidden speakers. Did you hear what I said? I want some noises. People! Since our distraction hasn't arrived yet, it's not like we have much choice here. Ooh, I say. Oh, adds Alec. Thank you, says Grayson. In my left hand, I hold the wand of eternal smiting. It is used to punish those who enter here without permission, which is a total lie. Grayson told me that she got the one at Target. It's as magical as my shoe. A long pause follows. I felt pretty sure that this would be a place that the lady would want to screech, but it seems like I'm wrong. Alec and I share a long look followed by a short shrug. We have permission, says Alec. It's not like we invited ourselves, I add. The lady's voice echoes through the chamber at a higher volume than ever before. No! You don't have permission! My favourite goldfinch is dead! I raise my hand. I thought it was your goldfish. That's what I said! Now, I must perform the necessary rites for little fishy boo, and you must go! But Alec and I don't leave. It seems like our diversion is running a little late. We must stand tall for a time. I can see them on your cameras. Then Lady shouts, They aren't leaving! Someone needs to activate the elevator, says Alec, which is some good thinking. When it comes to making up stalling tactics on the fly, Alec is a natural. Just push the button, calls the lady. Button. I make a great show of scanning the walls around the elevator. There is, in fact, a very large button on the top right-hand side. I ignore the hell out of it. I don't see anything. Alec makes a big show of looking as well. Dang, I can't find it either. Are you sure there's a button around here? Grayson! The lady's voice is extremely screechy now. Push the button for these fools! I'm starting to worry that we're running out of plausible stalling tactics when it happens. Ding! The elevator chimes once again. This time the doors open to reveal none other than Brian Knox. Both wear blue overalls with the name Mouse in the House Exterminators embroidered on the BIB. Brian steps off first. She's a werewolf. Sleepy Beauty live template and my good friend. She looks like a fairy tale namesake as well. What with her long brown hair, intelligent blue eyes, and royal demeanour. For the purpose of this caper, she's playing the role of Exterminator 1. Right behind her, Bry, comes Knox. Even though he's wearing the equivalent of an adult onesie, Knox still oozes bad boy swagger. That totally works, considering how Knox is an alpha werewolf. I have him playing the role of Exterminator 2. We're here about the mice, says Knox. What? The lady's voice takes a note of hysteria. I push down an urge to rub my hand together and say, Grayson totally hooked me up with the right intel. The lady hates mice. There are mice in the apex. If the lady keeps screaming like this, I worry she'll snap a vocal cord. Closing my eyes, I call upon my Cinderella summoning magic. We're supposed to use it to inspire small animals into doing housework, only I've adapted it over the years. Once I feel my fairy power rising within me, I reach out to my little buddies. You're up, turns out. The lady is right. There are no mice in the apex. Until now. Sure enough, my favourite mouse Gustav appears and squeezes his way from under a floorboard. Hello, he cries, and then remembers his role. I mean, squeak! If I thought the lady was losing it before, now she really goes berserk. Ah! Should I leave? Asks Grayson quietly. No, you little idiot, cries the lady. Stay with the exterminators. Get rid of the mice. Gustav sets his pinkies in either side of his mouth and lets out a high-pitched whistle. Hundreds of mice bound out from behind the walls to cover the floor in one seething mass of fur. Brian Knox make motions to catch them, but are always too slow. The lady's reaction is both predictable and lovely. Ah! Alec leans in to whisper into my ear. This is our cue. Got it. While all the mayhem continues, Alec and I magically unlock the exit and slip through the maze of hallways. Soon we reach the room where the lady awaits. The chamber itself is made of magical boxes, each one stacked on the other. The surface of every square shows a slightly different view of the reception chamber. As we enter, the screens all go dark. The moment that happens, the lady stops screaming. Little by little, she turns to face us. Seeing her up close, I can report that the lady is the classic kind of help. Refined features, pointy ears, flashy dress, big mouth. A full minute passes before the lady speaks again. Mice, she says slowly, and you're a Cinderella life template. I should have guessed. I can't help but grin. Here comes the fun. Alec. I have to hand it to her. The lady's doing a good job pretending that the horde of mice in her reception room doesn't bother her anymore. But there's a telltale twitch by her mouth that reveals her true emotions. Grayson should have never allowed you in here, declares the lady. Ella warned me about that everyone hates Grayson program that the lady is running, and I won't play along. You ordered Grayson to deal with your mouse problem, I counter. We all heard it over the loudspeaker, and Grayson's doing what you asked of her right now. I can call Grayson in here if you like, offers Ella. No! The lady takes in a long breath. I mean, that's not necessary. Grayson is fine where she is. You two are not. I wish you'd leave my presence at once. I'm not interviewing anyone today. Ella and I don't move an inch toward the door. Let's chat about our options, I begin. I'm a powerful wizard. Ella's magic is off the charts. Maybe we can come to some kind of agreement, so long as it doesn't involve mind control. When it comes to the Fae, everything's about deals and agreements. You two, here the lady gestures between us for emphasis, think I'm without magic? But on my show, the popular segment is a little something called Your Favorite Things. Allow me to demonstrate. The lady cups her hands before her. Bring me the object I like most values. A small oval crimson light appears on her palms. When the brightness vanishes, the lady's now holding my cell phone. How boring. I was hoping for a gem. She tosses the cell back to me. Just trust me when I say that you don't want to be on my bad side. Leave now, or I'll make you pay. It's like this, I declare. We know you've used spells to illegally profit from humans. The lady sniffs. Prove it. Just prove it. Well, I say slowly, you asked me for mind control spells in emails and on my cell phone many times. The lady narrows her eyes. I can almost picture the various plans flipping through her mind. If I'm so terrible, why not report me to NITRA? Because you're not all that bad, I reply. We did our magical homework, states Ella. You crave the adoration of humans. Having a bunch of enchanted followers simply won't work. Years ago, you have a +1 wand of mind control that you use to make people tune in. But that particular magic item ran out of juice long ago. No matter how much you search, you haven't found a replacement wand. These days, your success is all about you. That's correct. A small smile rounds the lady's mouth. I am rather amazing. Ella and I have practiced this speech. Now is the part when I go for the close. Look, I begin. I've no desire to turn you over to MITRA. But you must just keep your word about promoting the festival. We came here 3 times. People's lives are on the line. The lady waves her hand dismissively. Fine. I'll talk you silly glass slip of thing up. Great, I declare. So do it. Now. Ella. The lady waves her arms. The wall boxes slide open. Hover cameras and lights fly out and take their positions. We're live in 2, 1, cries the lady. Green lights turn on atop all the cameras. The lady's face brightens with an enchanting grin. Hello, she says to an invisible crowd. It's time for Lady R. Before, the lady has been wearing a kind of fitted red swim cap that's popular with many evil Disney queens. Now she pulls the hat off. Long tresses of blonde hair tumble down her shoulders to snake all over the floor. And when I say that's a lot of hair, I mean it's a lot. I can see why the lady wears a magical cap. That much hair must be a literal pain in the neck. The lady saunters over to Alec and asks about the Freshly Charmed line, which will be launched at the Glass Slipper Festival. Alec explains how the designs are all inspired by creations from the magical animates at my parents' old company, Cinder Mercantile. Which leads to my part of the interview. I'm asked if Alec is a good kisser. Answer, great. And how I feel to have landed myself such a wealthy prince. Reply, my bank account is actually much better than his. Alec shows off a few pieces in the upcoming line. The lady grudgingly admits that they are lovely. The live cast ends. Once the cameras and lights go dead, the lady rounds on us. No one makes me keep my word, she snaps. Watch yourselves. With that, the lady saunters out of the room. It looks like we made a friend, deadpans Alec. Don't worry about that, I counter. How are registrations? Alec pulls out his phone. Don't you think it's a little early to check? Still, he brings up the screen. I can't believe it. What? We're sold out. The Glass Slipper Festival is now waiting list only. We share a hug and a realization. What a perfect caper. All that remains is to gather the whole crew and debrief. For that, we're all supposed to rendezvous at the apartment Alec and Knox share. It's a little place I like to call the Man Cave. And that's the first part of our wonderful Faries and Frosting. Interesting caper to start with, don't you think? I'm quite liking it. What do you guys think? Thanks for listening, and many blessings. Hello everyone, welcome back to our Faries and Frosting. So we're heading straight back over to Alec. Ella and I reach the so-called man cave the old-fashioned way by walking through New York and enjoying the afternoon. In short order, we're back at the apartment. Sure, we could have used a spell to transport here, but it isn't smart to use magic too often. You can end up unhinged. Take my Uncle Horace, for instance. He relied on magic for everything. Now Horace lives in a man-sized basket. And, well, he insists he's a snake. True story. But I digress. Now that I'm back in my apartment, I can show Ella one of my greatest decisions ever. When the werewolf, Hollywood, said he wanted to enter the world of design, I let him take a crack at fixing up the place I share with Knox. As for my roommate, Knox didn't care as long as no one touched his stuff. For the last few weeks, Hollywood's been working non-stop. All our caper get-togethers have been at Bri and Ella's place. But now, the time has come for the great reveal. I set my key in the lock. Are you ready, Ella? She knows how Hollywood has been working away. So ready. I push open the door and gesture in my very best game show hostess arm swoop. Behold, the new man cave. Ella steps inside and freezes. What? Is that a 12-foot tall picture of me? You don't like it? Maybe hiring a werewolf as my interior designer wasn't the best idea after all. Ella is playing it rather cool. Personally, I love the massive photo of her on my wall. I can tap her lips every morning as I head to the kitchen. Talk about good luck. But Ella's working her poker face right now. It's hard to know if the picture is a hit. What do you think? I ask. Wow, that's really big. This isn't a take that thing down now reaction, but she's not exactly jumping for joy either. Nadia appears. Perhaps I can guess what she's worried about. Knox and I share this apartment, but the only person pictured here is Ella. Look, I checked with Knox already. He didn't want to put a big picture of Bri up. Ella taps her lips. Oh. In other words, the issue here is not the lack of massive photo of Ella's best friend. That leaves one more option. Too much? I ask. Not that I'll take it down. If Ella disapproves, I'll magically camouflage it with a forest vista when other people are here. I've gotten used to seeing her first thing in the morning. No way I'm giving that up. Ella tilts her head, turns to me and smiles. It's perfect. The lock jingles as Knox and Bri come in. The pair are out of their industrial onesies. Now Bri wears dress pants and a white shirt. Knox sports jeans, a black t-shirt and some hefty boots. Bri pauses as she steps across the threshold. Oh my, that's a rather large picture. You didn't see this before either? Asks Ella. Bri shakes her head. Hollywood worked really hard on this, urges Ella. Bri nods. Now you understand. It's perfect. Ella winks. That's what I said too. A warm sense of satisfaction seeps from my ribcage. I knew this redesign would be a hit. Knocks sound on the door. This time it's Agatha and Jacoby. They're a lot of huge hugs, smiles, and we celebrate being together again. Even Gustav crawls in from under the floorboards. For her part, Kashfi is back on Jacoby's farm. It seems that baby elephants need their naps. We order some pizza and rehash our success. The big reveal comes when I share that registration is sold out. Everyone cheers. For my part, I plunk onto the couch and exhale. After all those weeks of planning, it finally feels as if things are coming together. I won't have to fire loyal employees, and the dwarfs can keep the magical work that literally keeps them alive. Boom! And then boom. Thunder blasts through the air, followed by a flash of lightning outside our main window. The air turns heavy with an electrical sort of magic. I rush over to Ella and find her standing stock still while staring out at nothing in particular. It's happening again. Ella. Flashes of intense light burst across the apartment's interior as small lightning strikes. Now that it's night, the intensity makes my breath catch. Here we go. Low rolls of thunder follow. My inner ward of magic goes berserk. Electric energy careens through everything and every inch of my body. The last time this took place, the city streets seemed to empty out. Now everyone vanishes from the apartment. Obelisks rise from the carpet and become trees. The room transforms into a vast forest. The scent of fresh earth surrounds me. Crows swoop through the trees, cawing as they go. Dark clouds hang overhead. Heavy bolts of lightning flash in the depths. Chills creep up my spine as a realization hits me. I've seen lightning like that before. It was back at the pyramids, when we all released our ward of magic. My mentor and dragon friend Colonel Mallory the Magnificent took us to the pyramids in the first place. Ever since then, the Colonel's been trying to find out what happened to our ward of magic. He believes it disappeared into the ether. I turn the term over in my mind. The ether. All this time, the Colonel assumed the ether was a state, like how water changes from liquid into steam. But what if the ether is an actual place? It's more than possible. I scan the clouds more closely. Before, there were occasional bolts churning in darkness. Now the lightning flares almost constantly. That means something. Most likely it's nothing good. A figure steps out from the trees. It's an elf with sallow skin and long red robes. 4 horns adorn his head. I remember the voice that called to me from the darkness before. Is this the same man? Hello, Ella, he says. It's the same guy, all right. I'll never forget that voice. It holds that distinctly sweet tone that barely hides evil intentions. His mouth winds into a hungry smile. You've returned to me. Sorry about the snoring, that storm. I soak in the scene. Here I am, standing in a magical forest with a 4-horned man looming over me. Fortunately, this isn't the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, by far. It takes a few moments for my strategic sense to click back into place. Sure, this is a strange-looking guy, but he's still the same mysterious dude I met last time. As in, this is someone who shouted threatening stuff to me while hiding behind a bush. Like, who does that? This man either wants something, or he's a lonely Lou, like Reuben the God. I'm thinking it's the former. Dude has a plan. Plus, he's looking at me like I'm a bug, and he's the equivalent of a massive boot. If I had to make a bet, I'd say this guy wants revenge. But for what? Why am I part of it? All of which means that my goal hasn't changed from my last visit to the forest. I must get this guy talking. As always, it's best to start with the small stuff. You know my name, I begin. What's yours? You may call me... Here he pauses for a dramatic effect. The Bandit. He braces his shoulders, like he's expecting some kind of response to that. I got nothing. Still, I stole the bandit thing away for later. It's definitely a clue about who the man really is. You know, beyond the fact that he's a drama diva. Now that we have names all set out, let's move on to where I live. I'm a native of New York. I scanned the forest. What's this place? Oh, if I didn't tell you last time, what makes you think I'll share that secret now? I'm having far too much fun watching you squirm. Two things about that, I counter. One, I'm not squirming, and two, I know this place is the ether. I was just wondering if you'd come clean, but you didn't, because for some reason you've decided to hate me and want to torture me. Now, am I right? Or am I totally right? In reply, the bandit only glares in my direction, which means I'm totally right. The bandit's silence means that I'm winning this little conversation, so I keep right on talking. I gesture toward the sky. There's still water magic up there for some reason. It should have settled into either Earth or the fairylands. Now, I don't expect this guy to blab any real information, although I do have about a zillion questions about the ether. Where's it a forest? Is there a house around here anywhere? How long has the bandit guy called it home? Time seems to work differently here. So the bandit could have arrived a few minutes ago. He might also have been hanging out for centuries. It's a tough call. All that information would be super interesting to know. Still, it isn't where I really need to focus on here. The larger issue is why the bandit hates my guts. I'm guessing he's trapped in the ether. And considering I'm sort of one of the folks who sent lightning bolts over his forest home, maybe that's why he's got some Ella issues. I can see you have questions, intones the bandit. You think? The ether will give you the information you need. Vague, but okay. Prepare yourself in 3, 2, 1. Crack! A massive bolt of lightning strikes the ground nearby. Up close, I'd expect to detect nothing but bright colours. There's more. The bolt acts as a window. Within the lightning, I can clearly make out a distinct shape. The apex tower. Both the lightning and vision are only there for a moment. Still, it's enough for me to see the truth. The ether is being torn apart, I whisper. We must have returned too much magic. That's right, says the bandit. These bolts hit every 4 minutes now. Every strike is a little larger. Each portal stays open a little longer. The many strikes keep the monsters away and move me closer to my goal. You want to live here? The bandit shrugs. This realm is filled with horrors. I'm an elf who's aligned to the unseelie court. I belong in the fairylands with others of my kind. Of course I wish to leave. I shake my head. There's more to it than that. Yes. But that's none of your affairs. The bandit steps closer. Your business is to be the butterfly carcass that wriggles around helplessly while I pull off your wings. Damn, is that a bit nasty? Now, Jacoby is unseelie fae, the same as this guy, but if he were a candy, Jacoby would have a manipulative outer shell around a marshmallow good gooey go, but the bandit is pure evil flavour of unseelie. He'd dip a rock in chocolate, tell you it's a treat, and then laugh his ass off when you broke a tooth, or worse. I shiver. Every cell in my body screams that this man is dangerous. I simply must find out what he's up to. A memory appears. In our last conversation, the bandit used a unique phrase. Off with their heads. You serve the Queen of Hearts, I declare. The bandit practically snarls out a response. No. Bingo. Someone doesn't like the Queen. Time to press for more information? Perhaps I'll even hit a nerve. The Queen helped me set up with my boyfriend Alex. She's a force for good. The lines of the bandit's face tighten with rage. The Queen of Hearts is evil incarnate. Once I leave here, I'll destroy her and everything she loves, including you. So, that's a nerve, all right. The bandit stalks closer. Remember what I said. Sooner or later, you poison anything you touch. Your father, your mother, Alec, your friends, even the Queen of Hearts. It's inevitable. And sadly, it's also true. Another crack of lightning strikes nearby. The bolt is the largest one yet. Every detail of the forest becomes serially clear, from the rivulets of bark that wind down every tree to the yellow eyes that watch from a distance. Then everything goes dark. The next thing I know, I'm back in the man cave. Alec stands before me. All our friends wait nearby. Little by little, Alec gently cradles my face in his palms. His touch is all things warm and grounding. Are you all right? The true answer here would be, no, I'm all wrong. The bandit's words still pierce my soul. Alec is Prince. My friends are all pure examples of their magical types and fairy tale templates. I'm broken. Eventually my defects, they will damage everyone around me. Yet, I swallow down those facts. Everyone thinks I'm Ella the Unstoppable. And sometimes, I can even join in their fantasy. But if I ever did tell the truth, then I'd just get happy talk and easy answers. And folks certainly means well. As sadly their realities are not my own. In the end, I keep my truths to myself and force a smile instead. I'm fine. What happened? Alec rubs his thumbs across my cheekbones. You were staring off into space again. Bright steps up. I recognize that magic. It made you catonic. If anyone knew what happened to me, well, it would be her. For years, she toted around a magical inhaler to fight something similar. Alex scans my face carefully. Did you go back to the forest? I nod. This time, I met a full-horned man. Wait. Jackery approaches our group. Was he wearing red? Yes, I reply. Jackery personified. Did he give you his name? He called himself the... I freeze, as a hazy memory becomes clear. Before I thought the name Bandit had meaning, still I couldn't figure out what. Now the answer is clear. He said he's a bandit, but I suspected he's actually someone else. The Knave of Hearts. Jacob pales. Oh no. Knave of what? Asked Knox. Don't you know the nursery rhyme? Asked Bry. I'm not a nursery guy, counters Knox. Now Agatha joins in and recites the rhyme aloud. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them clean away. Knox frowns. So the knave steals stuff and is a bandit. That's it. Which is a classic Knox. Unless it has fangs and is about to bite your head off, Knox doesn't get the danger. It's more than that, explains Jacoby. The knave is the opposite power to the Queen of Hearts. Still not helping, quips Knox. It's like this, explains Agatha slowly. All the many realms of fairy align to one of two courts. Unseelie or seelie. I can't help but grin. This is Agatha in her I'm being super patient mode. It's the one she would use when trying to explain basic stuff around the store, like teaching our stepmother Marchesa how to use the cash register. I'm Seelie, adds Agatha. She taps her throat with emphasis. Well, lovely, but nasty. Jacoby points to his own face. Unseelie, more openly evil. Two courts, says Knox. Got it. What's that got to do with the Queen of Hearts? In my case, I'm the prince of my own realm, continues Jacoby, but my lands are vassals to the Unseelie. Still, I rule my own thing. My world is all about the magic of large animals. My family wields fortitude magic. But Jacoby's mini-realm has an opposite, says Agatha. That's a minuscule. They control the power inside tiny organisms. Like the plague, asks Brian. Exactly, confirms Jacoby. For the Queen of Hearts, her power is the magic that makes people fall in love. The Knave of Hearts holds the opposite power. He breaks couples apart. Knox tilts his head in a rather wolfy way. So the Knave's the bad guy and the Queen is good. Not always. adds Agatha. Some people should never have gotten together in the first place. For them, breaking up is a gift. It depends on who wields the power and what they want to do with it. Knox growls. No offence, but fairy stuff is a mess. Oh, it can be, I add. So the knave isn't necessarily evil, declares Bry. Right, says Jacoby. He doesn't have to be bad. But this version, rotten, word is, he liked to separate people not only from each other, but from life itself. The guy got locked up in a secret prison ages ago. No one knows where. It looks like I just solved the mystery, I state. Someone chucked him in the ether? Which is pretty clever, except for the fact that ether is opening up these days. At this rate, the knave will escape soon. I then go on to explain everything the knave said, including the hatred for the Queen of Hearts. Once I'm done, I turn to Alec. You've been quiet. What do you think? Alec straightens his stance. A steely look takes over his blue eyes. In a matter of days, the Glass Slipper Festival takes place at Central Park, which is the Queen's realm on Earth. And a magical enemy of the knave is about to break free and go after everyone the Queen cares about, including my girlfriend. I've seen that expression on Alec before. He's come to a major decision. I take his hands in mine. What is it? I'm cancelling the festival. All I can do is speak one word. Whoa! Alec. Knox stares at me like I just spouted a second head. What did you say? He asks. The festival is cancelled, I repeat, effective immediately. It's a reflex to look over a teller as I say this last part. I won't risk anyone's safety. Elves like the knave don't go after humans, explains Jacoby. If the knave does break free, they'll want to destroy the Queen, her territory, and her people, in that order. I shake my head. I won't risk fair either. Ella steps away. But we just sold out the event. It's too early to cancel. At the very least, we should check whether the risks are real, Knox nods. Brian and I will call up the pack. We can beef up security at the event and run some scenarios on cleaning everyone out of the park. Agreed, says Brian. I bet we can empty out the place in a few hours tops. That gives you more time to make a final call. And I can open a portal to Fairylands right now, as Jacoby. Agatha and I will chat up our contacts there. Maybe there's some info about the knave or queen that could give us an edge. Good thinking, says Ella. Whatever's going on, we know who has all the answers. Colonel Mallory, the Magnificent. Needs an odd fate to find, but it's worth a try. Look, I hold up my arms, palms forward. I get that you're all trying to help, but the answer is still no. Ella laces her fingers with mine. She turns to address the group. Everyone, can you excuse me and Alec for a minute? In reply, the room erupts into different versions of yes. Ella pulls me into the bedroom and shuts the door. Ella. Once inside Alec's bedroom, I'm happy to find that Hollywood hasn't redesigned anything yet. The place is nothing but concrete walls and steel furniture, the very look that inspired the name, Man Cave. My reasoning here is simple. It'll be hard enough to have this conversation as it is. I'm not sure I can manage it with a 12-foot tall version of me looking down on everything. Alex shoots me his most winning smile. If you wanted to jump my hot bod, the least you could do is ask first. He blinks at me innocently. Now I'm all shy. I didn't ask you here to fool around. Alex sets the back of his hand on his forehead in a pose of mock misery. Oh, the horror. It's hard not to laugh, but I somehow managed to keep a straight face. Alec, I know how important this company is to you. If we don't hold the festival, what will happen to all the employees? Cancelling means giving them more pink slips. Alex sighs. I know. Then there are the dwarves. I haven't known you for as long as them, but I feel like they're family. If you close down the shop, you know what that means. Alex sits on the edge of his mattress and balances his elbows on his knees. I must balance the lives of 7 dwarves versus the existence of thousands of fae who live in Central Park. Sometimes there are no good choices. The Queen of Hearts is no pushover. She probably has a plan to protect her own in case anyone invades. It's not just the knave she has to worry about, you know. Alec pinches the bridge of his nose. I can't, Ella. I sit down beside him. What's this really about? Alec meets my gaze straight on. You. The knave wants to hurt the woman I love. Don't be so modest. You're also a warden. You're probably on his hit list as well. It's not the same. I haven't been visiting him. in the equivalent of a supernatural jail. Alec takes my hands in his. An urgent look shines in his blue eyes. What if we go away from New York? There are warlock colonies that are far off the grid. You'll be safe there. Even from warden magic. I can't stay in the city and wait until the knave decides to attack. He lifts my hands and touches a gentle kiss on my palm. I can't risk you, Ella. Hey, I'm not at any more risk than usual. You should have seen my life growing up with an evil stepmother. I fix Alec with a serious look of my own. All I'm saying is this. We try, Alec. Please? Alec stares at me like I just figured out how to stop panty lines, cure cancer, and set up a colony on Mars all at once. For you, Ella, anything. My heart warms. That's a really sweet look, right there. A knock sounds on the door. You coming out? Yeah? It's Knox. Alec rolls his eyes. Give us a minute. But Knox keeps right on talking. I've been sending to say we've all decided the festival is going to happen. Brian and I are checking security. Agatha and Jacoby are doing recon in the Fairylands, and Gustav went on a donut run. It says he won't share either. Alec crosses the room and opens the door. Knox stands at the threshold. Everyone's left, asks Alec. Knox does the one-shoulder shrug move of his. Sure. We figured it would be, well, it'll take a few minutes for you to figure out. You can't kick everybody's asses, especially some of us who are, well, persistent. But you can kick some red elf with extra arms. So we made the call. I shoot Knox a friendly wave. You called it. Alex sets his fist on his hip. So what do you expect me and Ella to do now? I don't know, man. We'll all be gone for a few days. Take a break. Go play with gemstones, or whatever it is wizards do to relax. Knox raises his pointer finger. Only don't play Magic Autumn Killers until I finish my game. I don't trust you not to delete it. Alec chuckles. Okay. We'll think of something. Good. I'm meeting with Bright at her place. Knox looks at me. This is your place. You know what I mean. Knox turns and saunters off. Ah, Knox. There's only one. I rub my neck and think things through. Our friends are now forming cross alliances. This might be dangerous. Before, Alec chuckled. Now he outlaughs. Too late. Which is true. Our friends are nothing if not headstrong. If they want to hang together and make decisions solo, then that's what will happen. Alec checks his cell. Since the festival is still on, I have work to do. My people know how to set up any kind of event, but they like to see me hanging around. I rise from my spot on the mattress. It's the same with me and the animates. The festival includes a stage show, where models will show off all the new jewellery. Afterward, the animates from Sydney Mercantile will come out and discuss their art. My animates are just as self-sufficient as Alex folks, but they're also artists, which means they love it when I show up and say they're awesome. And if this works, who knows? Alec and I could end up essentially running the Charm Jewellers together. It's a thought that's exciting and terrifying. The scary part comes from the little voice that keeps warning me. It's only a matter of time before you ruin it all, Alicinda. And it's true. Some people just aren't meant for happily ever after. The rest of the day is a blur of chatting of enchanted weavings, carvings, glass sculptures at Le Charme HQ. All of the animates, and each one is excited for the Glass Slipper Festival. For his part, Alec chats up everyone, from even event planners to IT geeks. The guy has a gift for acting as interested in the CFO as he does the kid who prints out name tags. With every passing moment, more of my heart gets attached to the Le Charme Jewellers. I want this to work. When the dwarfs stop by to give Alec a huge blue diamond, I even get a little misty. Folks like that give their all, and truly deserve the best. Afterward, Alec is walking me to my apartment. We go over everything that happened. The festival is coming together smoothly. It's like the event is under an enchantment. It's not fair that this stupid knave could ruin everything. When we reach my door, I can't help but yawn. Oh, I'll sleep well tonight. Same here. Ever since the dwarves gave Alec his blue diamond, he's been turning it over in his hand. I gesture towards the stone. Is that rare? Yes, Alec narrows his eyes. It makes me think there may be a spell or two that I can help us, with the knave. You want to join me in my gem study tomorrow? Oh, the gem study. That would be where Alec casts his more complex warlock spells. I've gone in a few times, but I've never seen Alec actually do wizardly stuff in there, which means there's only one answer to that question. Absolutely. And that is the next part of our wonderful Alec. Oh, and Ella. I wonder where this knave guy's going and if he's going to destroy things. He sounds a bit of a bad guy, doesn't he? Must admit. Thank you for listening, and many blessings. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to Faries and Frosting. It's the obviously next book in Alec and Ella's journey. Now we're heading back to Alec. For all my talk about being tired, I don't get much sleep. Once I started thinking about creating a new gemstone spell, I can't stop. In fact, it's a serious exercise of personal restraint that I don't wake Ella up at dawn. Somehow I'm able to push it until 8 a.m. Magic Man, you ready? Only call me Ella. On my way. The entrance to my gem study is hidden in my bedroom's far wall. Looking back, I should have connected to the kitchen instead. I like regular snacks when I'm casting. If I stockpile grub in my study, then the food inevitably gets a few magical rock splinters inside. So far, I've chipped 2 teeth. The problems of being a gemstone wizard. All of which is why Ella and I grab breakfast, or in my case, second breakfast, before heading into a study proper. In some ways, this is a boring block of a room. Everything is made of dark wood. There's no furniture. The walls are lined with tiny drawers. Ella hangs by the door. Where should I stand? Suddenly the lack of any chairs seems like a big mess. I've never had anyone else in here. While I'm working. Closing my eyes, I picture the spell and stone I need to fix the situation. As I hone in on the gem I need, the walls of the room spin. It's a lot like a casino slot machine, only instead of tumblers and, feature numbers and letters, my room sports panels with tiny drawers. The walls stop spinning. A drawer slides open on its own. A small chunk of smoky quartz rises into the air before flashing over to my hand. This particular stone is preloaded with a spell. That's what I do here. Place magic stones so I can cast more quickly. Later on, closing my fist around the gem, I activate the spell. The stone flares with heat and light. Pale brightness glows through my hand as a leather club chair rises from the wooden floor. What do you think? I ask. Ella bobs brows. That's a mighty cool spell. I wink. I haven't even got started. Ella settles onto the chair. What's the plan? Plan A is the easiest. We get answers from the Colonel. The man's a dragon shifter who's been around since the beginning of Fairy. If anyone knows the real story on the Neve, it will be Colonel Mallory the Magnificent. And Plan B? We deal with that if necessary. Plan B involves creating new magic, which is never stable or advisable. So we definitely need to do Plan B. I chuckle. Plan A first. Time is tight, and the Colonel's our fastest route to answers. True, but I've already tried using summoning incantations on him many times when he doesn't want to be contacted. The guy's like a wall. Perhaps we just need to knock harder. Ella sits up straighter. I'm listening. My summoning spells are strong, but I can harness extra power here in my study. Stepping over, I brace my arms along the top of the chair. Long seconds pass as energy rises between me and Ella. What if you threw your magic into the mix? I ask. Ella tilts red. How could I do that? First, I need the right stone. Much as I hate to step away from Ella, it's best to summon stones from the centre of the chamber. Once I'm back in the middle of the room, I raise my arm and open my hand. Smoky Azure number 74, I call. I recently loaded this stone with the ability to share magic as well as perform as summoning. In other words, it's the perfect choice for today. The walls spin again with a new drawer that appears. This one is identical to all the others except for the tiny lettering on the outside. SA74. I snap my fingers. The stone rises to zoom through the air and land gently on my palm. Magic zings across my skin. There's a slight chill to the power, which means it's fresh and ready to use. Perfect. I refocus on Ella. Now that I have the stone, it's time for the second step. Which is what exactly? Ella's eyes are wide with interest. It's a good look. For weeks, Ella's been trying to master her own magic. There hasn't been time to experiment with combining her power. That changes now. I cross the room and retake my pose over her. This time I brace my hands on either side of her head before leaning in closer. Now, Now we share magic. Ella stares at my mouth. How? Many ways. Inch by inch, I move closer until our lips almost touch. When I speak, my voice is low. But we'll start off easy. Kiss me. Ella quickly breaks the distance between us. Her mouth caresses mine in a way that's both tentative and hungry. Desire heats my blood. Our kiss deepens. Tasting Ella is so good. I almost forgot the purpose why we're here. Still, I pull on the power of the stone within my grasp. The gem turns icy against my skin as the spell begins. The rock brightens until thin beams of light shine out from between my fingers. The magic's coming into its own. Power rolls up my arm and into my chest. Tilting my head, I kiss my way up Ella's neck. Once I reach her ear, I whisper my request. Will you share magic with me? Ella nods. I need your words. Yes. Ella's voice is husky. Please. I draw the stone's power up my throat before touching my mouth to hers once more. If our kiss before was fierce, now it turns even more rough. Ella nips my lower lip. Magic moves between us. Every cell in my body vibrates with energy. Now speak the incantation, I state. I summon you, Colonel Mallory the Magnificent. We continue to kiss as the light surrounds us. A supernatural heat envelops us both. A familiar voice echoes through the workroom. Back off, sugar. I'm busy. And tell your boyfriend to keep his hands to himself. The light dies. We're still kissing. Such a shame, I say. The Colonel's not available. It really is terrible, states Ella. Little by little, the club chair flattens out into a cot. When it's done moving, Ella lies beneath me. I say slowly. I was the one who created the spell for the chair. I don't recall enabling the thing to turn into a bed. Ella loops her arms around my neck. Good thing I'm getting better with my magic, eh? In all my life, I've never been happier that a spell failed. Thank you, Colonel Mallory, for being so incredibly hard to contact. And no, I am not keeping my hands to myself. Back to Ella. Blissful hours go by while Alec and I share each other's bodies and magic. Where has this gem study been all these months? Why haven't Alec and I been hanging out in here, sharing energy all day long? I'll have time to change that. Which brings things to the present moment. Alec lies behind me as we cuddle like spoons in our little bed. He kisses the top of my ear. There's still plan B. Right, I forgot about that. My sneaky side sparks with interest. Is this some kind of experimental thing that could kill us? Any chance of death is minor, but the experience will certainly be both unstable and strange. I wiggle out of Alec's arms and pull my sundress back on. You know me, that sounds awesome. Alec winks. I've noticed. It gets dressed as well. I'd like to say that I'm a lady who doesn't peek at every naked inch of him during the process, but I can't. In no time, Alec is ready as well. His shirt's askew and he's not wearing any socks with his loafers. Yeah, that somehow makes him even more attractive. He moves to stand in the middle of the room. What's the Plan B spell, I ask? You know how casters can put their own memories inside of things. Sure, to keep them safe from other people or whatever. And you recall how Kia Adele trapped me inside a gemstone prison. Hard to forget. I tap my chin and run through my memories. There's quite a few, considering how I entered Alec's prison myself. Kia Adele's jail also contained some of her memories. They were written onto books. Most were pretty boring, but I can see where you're going with this. Alec strikes one of his male model poses. This selection is where he leans against the wall while kicking his left ankle over the right. I figure that if you can trap actual people inside of a gem, and if a stone can hold recollections inside, then why can't I trap other people's memories inside a rock? It depends on the magic user, I state. Many have wards on their recollections. It won't be easy to pull their memories loose. Which is why I'll place a spell inside a particularly powerful gem. Alec raises his arm once more. Bring me the blue diamond number 2. The walls spin around once more, another box opens, and a massive diamond rises from the container. The thing is as big as an ostrich egg. I recognize it right away. That's the stone the dwarves gave you the other day. Correct, states Alec. It should be perfect for the spell. He takes in a shaky breath. Alec is pretty sunny and easygoing guy as a rule. A deep and unsure inhale is one of the few ways that I can tell when he's nervous, and I know what helps him in situations like this. I shoot him a hearty thumbs up. Can't wait to see you do your thing. Alec is at one for a blubbery encouragement. It's best if I keep it light and include a grin. Thank you. Alec closed his eyes. Let the casting begin. Walls spin. Drawers fly open. Stones zoom through the air in a tornado of movement. In the centre of it all, Alec stands like a maestro. He sends some stones towards him and others away. Many gems merge with a massive diamond in his hand. Each time a new gem enters the diamond, the larger the stone gets. After a while, the new gems just bounce off the now diamond. It takes all its power to handle just the little thing. That's it, announces Alec. Stones fly back into their drawers. The walls cease to spin. How did it go? Alec holds the little diamond up to the light. Doesn't look like the most stable spell ever, but it could work. I step closer. The blue diamond is literally bouncing across Alec's palm, and it's now very tiny. That looks unstable, all right. And I speak those words, the way some folks might say, that dessert seems mighty yummy. If we're using this, we have to do it now. What will happen? We'll go inside the stone. And what will we find there? I cross my fingers. Please tell me you have no idea. Alec grins his best surfer guy smile, not a clue. He holds extended arms free towards me. Ready? Always. I clasp his palm. Dark smoke fills the room. Energy shifts across the skin. When the haze clears away, the study is gone. Instead, Alec and I stand on the shortest and most unusual patch of street that I've ever seen. I can only hope that things may get weirder from here. Alec. Not bad if I do say so myself. So far, the spell is working perfectly. My study is gone. Instead, Ella and I stand before a line of buildings that are all shaped like books. Beyond the structures, dark mist billows out towards hidden horizon. The stale scent of old paper hangs in the air. Tiny cobblestones link together beneath our feet. At this point, some folks might cower and hide. Not Ella. She marches right up to the nearest building and takes a closer look. None of these have words on them, she reports, except for this one. Ella gestures towards the first book building in line. She reads the title aloud. A Woman in Love. Not too specific, I report. Still, with any luck, this could be exactly what we need. Which is information to keep Ella safe from the knave. Ever since I heard about the knave's plans, a heavy and protective rage has settled into my bones. Now, some of that weight lessens. And another kind of load lightens as well. After I inherited at Lasham Jewelers, I've carried extra responsibility. Now some of those worries fade. The Glass Slipper Festival is sold out. The new Lasham line of jewellery could be a success. My employees, not to mention dwarves, might all be safe. Ella lets out a low whistle. This spell is amazing. My heart swells with pride. Thank you. I'm rather happy with how it turned out. I've never cast anything like it, and the ground rumbles beneath our feet. A wind strikes up, and out of nowhere, the scent of charcoal fills the air. On the other hand, I add, maybe this is super unstable, and we should just get on with it. Nah, it's all amazing. Are you nagging me again? That's twice in 2 days. Go. Behold the power of my sass. The ground rumbles once more. Ella doesn't so much as flinch. I've gone on my share of magical missions in the past, mostly with Nox. He's a good adventure buddy, but a little grim. With Ella, everything is fun. I march up to the first door and grip the handle. Here we go. I pull the door open with ease. At this point, I'd expect Ella and I to walk inside a building. That isn't what happens. The structure flips around so the building faces away from us. The book then opens while moving towards us. 20-foot tall pages loom around. Inch by inch, the walls slowly swing shut. It's a reflex for Ella and me to grasp each other's hands. The book building closes. Ella. For a long moment, everything is darkness. Questions sing through my mind. When the book building reopens, what will we see? Since this is one of the Colonel's memories, could there be dragons? And will snacks be available? I'm not proud of that last question, but fooling around always makes me hungry. When the page is open once more, Alec and I no longer stand on the street of book buildings. Instead, we're on a lovely terrace of pink stones and matching flowers. Behind us, the shadows stretch off into a deeper building. I step around in a slow circle. Nothing's out of place here, so I'm guessing we're in Fairylands? Agreed, states Alec. If the spell is working, then we shouldn't be able to interact with the past. Alex steps over to a nearby table. Reaching out, he tries to swipe the glass of wine. His hand passes right through the goblet. I nod. Looks like the spell's working as intended. A servant lumbers out, a fae with a man's body, and not one, but two crane heads. He picks up the wine goblet and sets it on a silver tray. Memories appear. Jacoby told me about these fae, I announce. They died out hundreds of years ago. I step closer. Why are you gone? The servant steps away while a new figure saunters into the terrace out onto the magical street. Alec and I notice how this book building has been titled A Woman in Love. And now it's clear who's the main character of this book. The Queen of Hearts has now arrived. Alec. The last time I saw the Queen of Hearts, she was helping me and Alec get together. Now I'm cataloguing every aspect of the Queen. In terms of appearances, this ruler hasn't changed. She's still elf lovely with cocoa skin, brown hair, and a red gown. It's only in her throne room that the Queen shows off crimson wings and tresses. The Queen's eyes, says Ella. That's the only place where she looks different. Fairly for thousands of years, it's common for them to appear young, but have eyes that seem old. So that could be happening to the Queen of Hearts. Still, that's a weird kind of wisdom. This is something different. She seems sad. Maybe it's because she's alone. Do you know when she married the king? Sadly, no. The Queen of Hearts rules the fae who magically hide in Central Park. That's a short walk from where I live. And all of a sudden it seems like a huge miss that I don't know more about this regent and her life. I can't even recall what the king looks like. The Queen turns around to face the darkness in the building beyond the terrace. Suddenly the tension in her shoulders visibly loosens. You're here, whispers the Queen. A man's voice sounds from the shadow. My love. The Queen holds up her hand, palm forward. Please stay where you are. I can't say this with you too near. There's no response from the hidden man. The Queen continues. We're opposites. I'm Seelie, you're unseelie. That alone be too much for us to have a future. But I believe we could work past such things. What are you saying? Asks the man. When your rage takes over, you're a different person. Of course. That's why I need your help. The Queen sighs. I need a partner, not a project. A long pause follows. You found someone else, haven't you? The Queen lifts her chin. The next word seems torn from her. Yes. When the man next speaks, his voice is lower. Is it my brother? The Queen nods. Your brother is a different kind of unseelie. She sighs again. You know what I mean. No, I don't. Now the man's voice takes a dangerous edge. My weakling little brother. What a joke. He wouldn't know passion if it were written on his forehead. We both know that you'll never be able to quit me. At last, the man steps out from the shadows. I gasp when I see who is here. And that's the next part of Ella and Alec's story. I'll tell you who's here when I come back in the next episode. But you should be able to guess who is in love with the Queen of Hearts. And who did she say no to? Come on, you can guess this, guys. You got this. Many blessings. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel and the continuation of Faries and Frosting. Let's head back to Ella. At first, I didn't recognize the man's voice, but that changes when he says, we both know that you'll never be able to quit me. Now there's no question who this is. The knave. Even so, it's still a shock when the guy walks out from the darkness. He envelops the Queen in his arms and kisses her face off. I can see what's happening here, but I still can't process it. Who would have thought the Queen of Hearts would fall for the knave? The Queen breaks the kiss and steps away. I can't spend my days setting you on the right path. My chosen king supports me as much as I support him. But this, she gestures between them, it isn't healthy. Healthy, replies the knave. What about the health of the fairy realm? The knave takes out a dagger, crosses the terrace, and sets the blade on the Queen's palm. Kill me. The Queen's eyes widen. Stop! The knave wraps the Queen's hand around the handle and then drives the weapon into his own chest. The Queen gasps. The knave pulls out the blade. The Queen pats his chest. You're fine. I told you this would happen. Nothing on earth or fairy can kill me. You unite things, I destroy. All that holds me back is my love for you. Leave me, and I will erase everything. He points to the ground. Stay. The Queen narrows her eyes. No one commands the Queen. The ground shakes. The world around us turns into a pair of massive paper walls. The Queen, the terrace, and even the knave, all of them become etchings. The book building reappears and closes around us. When the book reopens, Alec and I find ourselves back on the cobblestone street once more. Only this time, the wind is far stronger. The ground shimmies in a steady rhythm. So that was helpful, says Alec. Now we know the Queen and the knave. Well, they were an item, I recap. It doesn't explain how the knave ended up in the ether, though. I point to the second book on the street. Before, only one book building showed a title. Now a second is one as well. And I read the words aloud. A story from the cliff of Eiling. That's in Fairyland, says Alec. I scan the exterior. There's no door. Maybe we have to scale it. Turns out, climbing isn't necessary. Just as with the first structure, the structure comes alive. The book building flips open, opens its pages, and closes around us. Our second journey begins. Back to Alec. The book opens to reveal a cliff top. The Queen stands at the land's edge. Far below, a great fire roars over the countryside. Tears stream down the sovereign's cheeks. The Queen pulls up a sphere of power and tosses it into the flames below. The orb fizzles out before it gets anywhere near the blaze. A figure stalks up behind her. It's a knave. Why waste your magic? You can't stop this. When the Queen speaks, her voice is a rough whisper. Some of people couldn't escape. You mean those two-headed bird men? I'm so upset. Why did you do this? Asked the Queen. The land is ruined now. We can't rebuild. Because you didn't detect me at your royal wedding. Still, I was there. I watched your ceremony with my brother. And when you committed to him, that's when I made my vow. I no longer wish to destroy all of Fairy. Just everything you love. Just as you eviscerated my heart. The Queen shakes her head. I'll stop you. And this isn't over. I'll build again. Where? This ground is now ruined. All of the realms in Fairy are taken. You won't start a war for more land. His eyes widen. I have it. You'll go to Earth. She doesn't answer. Your silence is a reply in itself, adds the knave. So you plan to build a hidden world of fairy beauty under the ugliness of humanity. I'll find you there as well. Perhaps, or maybe I'll find you first. Little by little, the scene turns from real life into a line drawing on a massive page, all of which means one thing. The visit to this past is ending. Like our other experiences with the spell, the page walls materialize and vanish at double speed. The trip to the cobblestone street only takes seconds. Sadly, I know exactly why that's happening. My spell is growing even more unstable. I can only hope our next visit through time is worth the risk. The book walls open around us. This time the pages show familiar structure, Belvedere Castle. It's a popular stop with humans who visit Central Park. The drawing on the page transforms into reality. Ella and I stand at the base of the small hill with the castle looming above us. In some ways, this version of the park appears as it always does. People walk about, the paths are unchanged. In other ways, everything is far different. The women here, they wear full dresses with bustles. The men all sport top hats and fitted suits. Some children skip by while pushing a large wooden circle of sticks. I turn to Ella. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Do you mean all this stuff from the 1800s? That's exactly what I mean. A pair of horses clip past, pulling a large open buggy behind them. Ella grins. How cool is this? We should definitely catch a buggy ride while we're here. The ground rumbles beneath our feet. For a moment, the view around us changes, back into being a drawing once more. Or we could hustle and find stuff out before it vanishes, adds Ella. I raise my hand. That's my vote. A woman's voice carries over the green. Off with his head! Ella and I share a dry look. No need to discuss further. We both know who we must see now. The Queen of Hearts. Ella closes her eyes. I've seen her do this move before. It's how she accesses her fey power of second sight. With it, Ella can see the fairy world that's hidden underneath the human one. I can do the same thing, only I must use a gem. Reaching into my pocket, I search for the right stone. Fortunately, I have one loaded with fey power for just an occasion. It's pink tourmaline, and it's kept in my tiny pocket with a zipper. Like everything with fey magic, it's hard to contain. Pulling out the stone, I clasp the gem tightly in my fists and begin the spell. Within seconds, the world around me shifts. Suddenly I can see pixies in trees, naiads frolic along the paths, a hidden city lurks underneath a nearby pond, and Belvedere Castle transformed right into the Queen's Palace. Normally, Her Majesty's residence is a soaring mix of white marble and pointed towers, but this version is under construction. Only the first story is being built. There's no main gate yet, let alone any guards. Ella and I walk inside to find the Queen standing in what will eventually become a statuary hall. Only now, it's a half-finished room with a few marble statues. The Queen pauses before one of her stone figures, eyeing up the face. I don't like this one either, announces the Queen. Off with his head! At least 100 pixies zoom in from seemingly nowhere. The tiny bodies surround the statue in a flurry of action and multicolored wings. Within seconds, they've enveloped the marble head in a web of tiny ropes before flying away and taking the offending noggin with them. At the same, another troop of pixies brings in a fresh head and sets it atop the marble body. The Queen taps her chin and scans the new edition. This will do, announces the Queen. Thank you very much. One of the pixies pipes up. We can't go back to Fairy, can we? No. Another pixie speaks up next. But, we won't have to run away again. The land's safe, right? Absolutely, declares the Queen. I promise. All the pixies fly up to the Queen, kiss her cheek and soar away. The regent's eyes fill with a mixture of sadness and joy. I never thought about why the Queen set up her new realm in Central Park, says Ella. She's just always been here. I wrap my arm around Ella's waist. Now that I know what the Queen lost, it makes these lands even more impressive. We can't stand by while she loses everything again, and we won't. Both of us are so caught up in our thoughts, neither of us notices the knave creeping up behind the Queen. Before we know it, his sword is raised high, and is about to slice open the Queen's head. The thought hits me. I don't know how she'll survive this. At the last moment, the Queen spins about. She now holds the shield in the left hand, and she uses it to block the knave's blow. How dare you come here, cries the Queen. The knave tries to strike again, but the Queen blocks each blow with her shield. I told you I'd attack, states the knave, and there's nothing you can do. Nothing earth or fairy can contain me, let alone kill me. I know, counters the Queen. That's why I'm sending you somewhere else that's not part of any world. She raises her right hand. A signet ring gleams on her pointer finger. It's a classy-looking band adorned with the image of pyramids. The knave frowned. And what's that supposed to be? No jewelry to impress me. As he speaks, he keeps trying to strike the queen. She blocks each attempt. A flash of light appears on the queen's pointer finger. The glassy ring expands into a long sword that's shaped like an obelisk. I inch closer for a better look. I know my precious stones. I've never seen anything like this before. The knave pales. No question about it. This guy knows exactly what the sword can do. No, you can't. The queen grins. You told me too much. I figured out how to contain you. The queen moves as if to slice the knave, but she cuts through the ground before him instead. The earth opens up, revealing a familiar stretch of treetops below. A plan quickly becomes clear. The queen is opening a portal to a magical forest. For his part, the knave loses his footing. The world seems to go into slow motion as he falls through the portal and into the forest below. Once the knave is well and gone, the slice in the ground seals back up again. It's as if there were never a portal to another world to begin with. The queen waves her arms. The sword returns to being a ring. Suddenly, the image of the queen turns two-dimensional. Page walls reappear before closing in around us. Moments later, Ella and I are back on the street of the book buildings. Cobblestones heave beneath our feet. Smoke chokes the air. The book buildings tumble to the ground. I focus on Ella. Are you all right? I'm fine. I think we're out of time, though. True. I pull Ella into my arms, grip the tiny blue diamond in my fist, and make a solemn request. Please let this work. And that's the next part of Ella and Alec's story. Kind of makes sense now, doesn't it, why the knave is so angry? Many blessings. Hello everyone, and welcome to the next part of our Ella, and Alex saga. Every snoring in the background is just Storm. You know what she's like. She's extremely loud when she snores. Back to Ella. Seconds later, I find myself back in Alec's study. I offer him my fist to bump. That was amazing, I declare. Alec returns the gesture. That was also rather close. He opens his hand. The blue diamond is now a small deposit of dust on his palm. Hey, at least we got what we needed. True, says Alec. We must find another obelisk sword, like the one the queen used on the knave. It's something that's not part of Earth or Fairy. And if it could kill the knave, well, then we have something if necessary. Can you cast one? The festival is in days. I can't do it that quickly. Alec tilts his hand, allowing the blue dust to cascade toward the floor. It took me months to create all the stones that made up this thing. We share a long look and then speak words in unison. We need to see the queen. I chuckle. I've never done that before. Alec shoots me a sly look. What? Travel through enchanted books? That sure, but I meant how we just talked in unison. It's kind of a relationshipy thing. Good or bad? I tap my chin, as if response really needs consideration. Good. Definitely good. Alec casts a transfer spell, so we can reach Central Park fast. It's strange to see the place in the present day, after this experience in the 1800s. We approach the palace and ask about the queen. The guards say the queen is away and won't return till her birthday 2 days from now, which leaves us without a lead on the obelisk sword, at least for a few days. Boo. In the end, Alec and I spent the rest of the day back at his place. Alec cast test spells for obelisk swords. Meanwhile, I hang in my now favourite club chair and surf the Magiweb, which is a secret internet for our kind. I'm a whiz when it comes. Since I now know what we're looking for, I try to turn up any clues on the knave in general, and obelisk swords in particular. My results? Nada. Alec doesn't turn up anything either. The guy seems pretty calm, but the whole situation is getting on my nerves. I keep feeling like there's some realization I need to find, but it's always just out of my grasp. Eventually, Alec convinces me to take a break and to get some sleep. He even promises to take me to his favourite concentration place tomorrow, saying it'll help both of us prepare for our big days with both the Queen of Hearts and the Glass Slipper Festival. I can't wait. Alec. The next morning, I wake up to the sound of knocks pounding on my door, and if you heard a werewolf knock, it's enough to wake the dead. I'm not even kidding. We once had a necromancer stay over at our apartment. He confirmed it. What is it, Knox? I'm making breakfast. I sit upright. Knox's new breakfast extravaganzas are legendary, and not in a good way. Great idea. I hop out of bed. I'll help. That's why I'm knocking. I know how your mind works. You're going to jump in the kitchen and get in my way. The ladies are coming down in 5 minutes. Keep to yourself and everything will be fine. Oh, and put some pants on, yeah? I stifle the urge to groan. You've got it. A low drumroll of footsteps sounds as Knox stomps back to the kitchen. Brian and Ella show up 5 minutes later, just as Knox predicted. They arrive with smiling faces and extra orange juice. In other words, they have no idea what they're in for. Awful smells roll out from the kitchen. Knox serves up a pile of brownish goo, scented by bits of a spatula. Brian and Ella sit at the table and move things around on their plate with forks. When they speak, their voices have a stuffy tone, no question why either. They try not to breathe in through their noses. I've been through this before, so I catch Ella's attention, point to the floor, and let some food slip. Combined with a fine, upset stomach, this will give the impression that something Knox cooked has actually been placed in my body. Ella gets the hint and does the same. Soon Gustav shows up for a free meal. He nibbles at the floor, makes a loud noise, and runs back into the wall. Lucky Gustav. As for Knox, the man cleans his plate. Maybe something happened to his sense of taste along the way. I make a mental note to check the guy's food, hexes later. Ella's phone buzzes. She checks the screen. Oh my, Grayson texted me a video link. She scans the table. Okay if I put it on? We're all too eager for a distraction, so everyone agrees. That is except for Knox, who just grunts. That's about as an agreement you'll get this time of the morning from him. The lady appears on a tiny phone screen with a too bright smile. She promises to live stream commentary on the Glass Slipper Festival. Then the video feed goes dead. Ella's phone buzzes with an incoming call. It's Grayson. I put it on loudspeaker. Grayson's voice echoes through the kitchen. Hello, Ella. Hey, Grayson. I'm here with the crew from the Apex Center. That video clip you just sent us, is it for real? She means it, says Grayson. It's Alec, I announce. Can I tell my people about this? It would be a huge deal for the festival. They'll want to set up extra monitors. You can tell them. Something in Grayson's tone sets my nerves on edge. Is it a trap? I ask. Not that I can tell, replies Grayson. The lady will kick her grandmother in the teeth if she thinks it will attract views. The festival has become a thing. I think she just wants in. What's the lady up to right now? Asks Ella, which is a good question. She's running a live cast, explains Grayson, doing the bit she calls your favourite things. This time, she's trying to summon the object most cherished by the human queen of England. Ella lets out a low whistle. That's a bit rude. For the lady, it's the usual. Her audience love it. A screechy voice echoes in the background. Oops, the lady's calling me. I'll meet her with you at the festival. I gotta run. The yelling goes silent as Agatha ends the call. Wow, I don't envy the girl that job. Once breakfast or torture is over, we depart the very stinky kitchen and hang out by the massive picture of yours truly. I'm so glad to be away from the stench. I don't even mind having a huge me stare down at regular me. After Jacoby and Agatha arrive, we all go through what we've learned over the past few days. Knox and Bry report that with their wolf pack, they can clear out Central Park in 2 hours tops. If they can do it as wolves, then they only need 10 minutes, which is cool. It's a little scary to picture a pack of massive werewolves running through Central Park, but you never know when the ability might come in handy. For her part, Jacoby reports that the Queen of Hearts is visiting Fairylands until her birthday tomorrow. That tracks with what the god told me and Alec yesterday. It's just odd, that's all. The Queen never leaves Central Park, and after seeing what happened to her home in Fairyland, I don't blame her. What could be so important that she'd take off? Agatha states that she and Jacoby also tried to convince some Fae to leave Central Park until the festival is over. No one was interested, to put it nicely. Then Alec and I share what we've learned. We go through the history of the Queen of Hearts and the Knave. It begins with the story of a bad relationship, moves on to how the Queen's lands were destroyed, and ends with why the Knave is imprisoned in the magical forest. The guy is never impossible to prison or kill. We tried to close on a positive note by saying how the Knave can be killed with the Queen's Bliss sword. I had Alec and I planned to visit the Regent's Palace tomorrow. Agatha and Jacoby volunteered to join us, which is very appreciated. After that, everyone goes off to do their respective stuff. Brian and Knox want to take the pack on a run in the mountains. Agatha and Jacoby plan to visit Fairy and check on Jacoby's herb. Which means there's only one thing left to discuss. I turned to Alec. What about our special trip day? I wore my new sandals and everything. Alec winks. It's still on. He pulls out a gemstone from his pocket. Where are we going? It's a surprise. A swirl of magic appears as Alec transports me to, well, one of the coolest spots ever. Coney Island. The transport spell drops me and Alec in what looks like a borderline cheesy fairground. You'd think it's a bad idea to finish a transport spell in the middle of a public place. After all, humans know that magic is fading from the world. They'll shoot a million selfies with anyone who's suspected of being magicorum, let alone a celebrity like Alec. So I prep myself for an onslaught of paparazzi. It doesn't happen. The reason why soon becomes clear. Alec dropped us off behind Cannoli Desert Nachos truck. The place gives great cover and smells delicious to boot. Alec pulls out a baseball cap and sunglasses from the many hidden pockets of his sport coat. He pops them both on and throws his arm wide. Welcome to Coney Island, cries Alec. I've been here before. Once, I almost ran a con at this place, but the mark fell through at the last second, so that's a no. Allow me to show you around. Alec takes my hand and leads me out onto the midway proper. There are tiny huts with impossible games. I read about these. You pay way too much money to win massive stuffed animals that tear open on the car ride home. We also pass a carousel that plays tinkling music, and there are tons and tons of food trucks that smell of sugar and grease. My mouth waters just reading the signs. Deep fried PB&G, chicken on a waffle, world's largest pizza cone. My stomach rumbles with joy, and it's not just because of the dinner options. As a rule, Alec and I, well, share adventures together. Most of these episodes involve life, death, and some mind-blowing sex. All of which means that the two of us haven't dated in the traditional sense. Sure, I was a fake intern in Alec's company for a while, but don't really count that as courtship. Yet, today totally counts as a date. There is a destination involved and some fun, self-worthy activity. I even wore my cute new sandals, which is a total bonus. Everyone knows you have extra powers of attractiveness when you wear something for the first time. After trying a bunch of bad-for-you foods, my teeth are still buzzing from too much cotton candy, we head over to the main attraction, the Wonder Wheel. The ride's run by an older woman with a crinkly face and a wide smile. The fact that she's shaped a lot like a muffin would have made me hungry 10 minutes ago. Her name tag reads Maisie. When it's our turn to board, Maisie gives Alec the once-over. My little sweetie, she cries. Alec grins. I wasn't sure you'd remember me. How could I forget? Asked Maisie. She sets her hand at hip level. You were this tall when you first rode the Wonder Wheel. She turns to me. And who's this lovely lady? Alec pulls me against his side. Ella, Maisie winks. Is she your happily ever after? Yes. Alec kisses my cheek. She's my everything. Maisie pulls the wheel to a halt and opens the carriage. Although the thing sits a bunch of people, Maisie only lets me an arc inside. Give me a wave when you're done, calls Maisie. The ride begins. Two long benches line the long walls of the carriage. Alec and I take seats across from each other. The thing creaks and sways as it begins to circuit. How do you know Maisie, I ask. My parents used to drop me off here when I was a kid. Maisie would let me ride around the Wonder Wheel for hours. He leans back on the bench. There's something so soothing about this place. And the nickname? I was pint-sized and very smiley. Maisie always called me her little La Sweetie. I look out through the grating to the midway below. What are you thinking? Asks Alec. Nothing, Alec chuckles. It's a big something. You're nothing. It's like this. The neighbour's been saying things to me when I visit the ether, and he believes that some people are poison to everyone around them. I wanted to think I could ignore the guy, but what he said keeps needling me. So you're poison? What do you mean? Are you kidding? Example, please. To begin with, I'm the only one who still has her fair warden magic. That's because of the fair part of the sentence. It wouldn't be true fair power if it did as expected. A metal grill covers the window holes. I run my fingers along the pattern. It's easier than looking at Alec while I say the next bit. My family fell apart. Maybe the fact that we're together places you at risk too. Alec leans forward. Ella, I decide that now's a great time to pick stray chips of paint from the grill work with my thumbnail. Huh? Look at me. Little by little, I shift my gaze to meet his. The expression on Alec's face is a definition of the word intense. Yes? I only have one dream and you're right here. Alec pats the spot beside him. Come. I cross the carriage to sit by Alec's side, with my legs over his lap and my head on his shoulder. Together, we watch the world go round. My thoughts turn over what just happened. Alex certainly said some incredibly sweet things, yet for some reason, none of his sentiments feel real, because no matter what Alex says, a little voice within me counters. You are poison, Ella. And all this will end one way. Badly. Back to Alec. I'm not sure how long we ride around in circles, but it's the perfect amount of time. At some point, Ella gestured towards the grill work that covers the window holes. This pattern reminds me of the work Kokivo does. Weeks ago, I wouldn't have known the name Kokivo. Now I realise he's one of the animators who creates, well, so many things. He's inspired our new jewellery line. These days, most animators live in Lasham building with a human design team. I even cast enchantments, so the two groups could see and work with each other. I worried humans and animates might not get along, but that was unnecessary. The two groups adore each other. If I have to close, well, Lasham down, I don't know if I'll be able to separate them. A weight of sadness settles in my bones. Everyone at Lasham is so excited about the company's future. What if I have to close the doors? I shake off the thought. This moment is for me and Ella. I refocus on Ella's comment about Kokivo. You mean the solar line? I ask. That's the one. I picture the necklaces in question. So many dainty wires twist into a cord of unspeakable beauty. The layering on those pieces is so unusual. There are many animates in the world. Your parents attracted the best. A small smile rounds her lips. Mum and Dad would get so excited about every little creation. The animates soaked that up. The things they made became a way to give back. I recall what Ella said about being poisoned to her family. I never really asked about them before. Now I wonder, what could have happened to make Ella feel responsible? What happened to your parents? I ask. A long pause follows. At first I worried that I pushed Ella too far. Mum never seemed sick, Ella finally replies. Then one day she was. By the time we got a diagnosis, Mum's body was overrun with cancer. There was nothing we could do. Some things even magic can't fix. I'm so sorry. And that's all I say. I want Ella to keep going. But I know how it is with stuff like this. You can't force it. Did you know my parents and stepmother all grew together? They grew up together, you know. That's not a typical part of a fairy tale template. It's more common than you think. They call themselves the Three Musketeers. Marchesa always wanted Dad to notice her. My father and mother were a pair from the age of 6. Later, when Mum got sick, Marchesa swooped in. Dad was at a low point and Marchesa told him exactly what he wanted to hear. That if they married, Mum's death wouldn't have any impact on me. You knew differently, Ella nods. I couldn't tell Dad that, though. It was one of the only things that gave him a sense of peace. The idea that I'd be fine. For a long time, I hated Marchesa, and I was so angry at my mother for putting up with her frenemy all these years. Now it's different. I see that Marchesa was a victim of her own lies too. I pull Ella's legs more tightly against my torso. How so? Life's tough, right? But my mother was always happy. Marchesa believed that joy was because of my father, and it was, in part. But Mum has the right name. Ray. She's simply a sunny person. Bad things happen, and she just decides to see the good side. Like, the glass isn't half empty, it's half full. More like, wow, the glass is shattered on the floor, but don't the shards sparkle so pretty as they cut our feet open? We share a little laugh. It sounds extraordinary. She was, sadly. Marchesa never understood her. I shake my head. What happened when Declan and Marchesa married? I know you'll be shocked. Alec gives me a sly look. But Marchesa was never happy. My father died of a broken heart. Marchesa took her anger out of me and Agatha. My stepsister was a really good person, by the way. She tried to help me wherever she could. Ella tilts her head. May I ask you a question now? Sure. How was it with your parents? They were Cinderella life templates who met and married at a gossip ball. Did they expect each other to make them happy? I wince. That's not easy to answer. You don't have to say anything. No, I want you to know. It's just that the Cinderella life template is tricky. Everyone knows how the girls have it rough, but guys like me, it isn't easy for us either. I've looked into hundreds of other so-called Prince Charmings. If your parents are forcing you into choosing a random bride at a ball, then something is definitely wrong with your family. Makes sense. Ella kisses my chin. Warms my heart. I continue. The funny thing is, my parents actually got there happily ever after. Not with each other, though. They were both deeply in love with the Charm Jewelers. How so? The name, the money, the glamour. My parents couldn't get enough. They met as strangers and stayed that way. Ella frowns. I don't get it. If they cared that much about the company, then why is it in rough shape? They treated the company the way they treated themselves. As long as everything looked right, it didn't have to be right. Does that make sense? It does. My father always had these grand schemes like building the L Centre, but those weren't real businesses. It was more fun to have a huge building named after you in the middle of Manhattan. Oh, I sigh. And everyone around them played by the same rules or got fired. I was surrounded by a world of beautiful illusions, and I was the only one who saw the truth. A memory appears. A young Ella delivering boxes. I take Ella in my hand. Then I saw you at the L Centre's loading dock. You were all things gorgeous and bright. That ray light from your mother shone all around you. Ella looks away. I was a sweaty mess, dragging a broken wagon of knickknacks. I set my knuckle under her chin, guiding her gaze back to mine. You were perfect in your imperfection. Same as when I saw you later on my security cameras, unstealing jewelry from my office. For me, the charm is a responsibility. It's a broken machine that I inherited, and I must fix it. I'd sell it off if I could, only there's too much debt. And too many dwarves. Yeah, I can never forget the dwarves. I brush my thumb across her lower lip. But you're my dream. And not because you'll magically make everything better either. It's more that I trust you. I trust you to my marrow. You'll fight at my side to make our life the best it can be. And I love you too, Alec Lacham. We share a slow and loving kiss. All in all, it's a good day. In fact, our time together is so sweet I almost forgot that we must see the Queen of Hearts tomorrow. Almost. Ella. I wake up with a smile on my lips. Alec and I had such a nice time yesterday after Coney Island. We went back to the city for a carriage ride through Central Park. After all, we missed a chance to have one back in the 1800s. In fact, I'm so calm, I almost miss how my roomy Bri lurks nearby. I yawn, smack my lips, and try to figure things out. What's up? I ask. It's happening again, warns Bri. There's no missing the word look in her eyes. Instantly, I'm wide awake. My mind races through everything that could be wrong at this point. Top of my list is that the knave is now roaming through our apartment with a machete, or whatever you call a huge sword he has strapped to his back. I hop out of bed and grasp Bri by her upper arms. It's him, isn't it? Yeah. She exhales a shaky breath. Knox. Wait. I drop my death grip on her shoulders. Did you say Knox? Bri frowns. Who else would I be talking about? I thought the knave was running around with a machete. The way you described it, I think he wields a falchion? That's bright for you. Information goes in red and never leaves. I've never heard of falchion before. I jog in place to let off some tension. This is good. No knave. This is about Knox. I stop running and crack my neck. Okay. I'm ready now. What's the problem? Bri hugs her elbows. Knox wants to make breakfast again. You know, since it was such a huge hit last time. I narrow my eyes and start to scheme. How long do we have till he comes over? 5 minutes. Bri clasps her hands at her waist. Tell me you've got a plan. I literally barfed yesterday. You could just tell him he's no chef. But you saw how excited he is. The guy spent most of his life running after the people who killed his parents. It really means something to him that he can cook for his new family. I tap my lips and skim my ass off. How attached are you to the kitchen? It's a room full of things, says Bri. That's it. What are you thinking? I'll summon Gustav and his friends. They can chew through cords and destroy a kitchen in no time. Bri sighs. Oh, do you think that'll do it for us? We need to buy a bunch of donuts, but yeah, Gustav is the best. Bri sits out her hand. Give me your phone. I'll order delivery for the place up the street. I open my mouth, ready to ask why Bri needs my cell phone. Then I realise the truth. For this ruse to work, it needs to appear as if I ordered breakfast because I didn't know Knox was coming over. Wow, Bri is truly developing a sneaky side. I hand over my cell. Make sure you get French cruels. Those will play nicely with the food I ate yesterday at Coney Island. While Bri types away, I close my eyes and summon my best rodent friend. Gustav, I need your help. My little mouse buddy skitters from under the floorboards. He sits upon his haunches. What's up? Can you destroy our kitchen appliances right now? It's kind of an emergency. Gustav blinks at me with his little button eyes. Complete wipe? Out. Chew through the cords. Yeah, that. Gustav rubs his little hands over his face. This means he's thinking this room. I was about to head over to the apex. I'm picking a surprise nesting spot for my girl. He shuffles back towards the wall. Maybe next time. I flash him my most winning smile. But I just ordered donuts for delivery. Gustav freezes. Sam's on X. Bri flips my phone around and shows Gustav the receipt. Sam's. Yes! Gustav does that thing where he whistles with his pinkies. A dozen mice appear out from walls and race into the kitchen. Once there, the many creatures zoom under appliances and into a new set of floorboards. Sometimes I wonder what the world is like inside the walls of my apartment. More often, I decide it's best to not know. Gustav and his crew have just gone to work right when the doorbell rings. It's Knox and Alec. Just as Bri predicted, Knox carries 2 large bags of groceries. Alex is toting a distinct look of panic. I wrap my arms around Alex's neck and pull him into a big hug. Don't worry, I whisper. How can I not? Alex shoots a look over to Knox, who is in the kitchen and safely out of hearing range. He's cooking again. There are only so many times I can drop food on the floor. I'll have to eat something today. Not to worry, I reply. Gustav is on it. Alec leans back while narrowing his eyes and pursing his lips. This is what I call his Professor Alec face. Really? Hand in hand, we march over to the kitchen. Sure enough, Knox is flipping switches on the appliances. Nothing's working. Knox crosses the room to turn over headlights on and off. It's not a broken circuit. Bri shoots me a nervous glance. What do you think it is, Ella? I gasp and point to the bottom of the stove. Gustav, is that you? Now, I stopped trying to have Gustav do things like clean floors or help with laundry ages ago. Mostly I asked my mouse buddy to perform con on missions in exchange for donuts. All of which Gustav replies without missing a beat. I got hungry, Ella. I sigh. You're not supposed to eat appliances. Gustav lifts his chin. I am a rodent. Chewing stuff is what I like to do. Don't put your two like a preference of normalcy on me. Bri nods. He has a point. The doorbell rings. It's a donut delivery, along with Agatha and Jacoby. After we stuff ourselves, we all run through our plans for the day. Bri and Knox say they promised to pack, that they'd go on a run in the mountains. Their wolves have been spending lots of time casing out Central Park to be at their best. The pack needs to run today before tomorrow's Glass Slipper Festival, which I totally respect. Alec and I share that we're off to visit the Queen of Hearts, along with Agatha and Jacoby. Today's the Queen's birthday. Based on everything we've heard, Her Royal Highness should be back in the palace by now. Hopefully, she'll share some info about the Obelisk Sword. As we head out to the park, I feel certain that everything will go well today, which normally means stuff will go off the rails. and soon. And that's the next part of Ella and Alec's story. Thanks for listening, and many blessings. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to the continuation of Faries and Frosting by Christina Buer. If you hear any snoring in the background, that's just Dougal. He's on my lap and he's asleep, so don't mind him. He doesn't mind you. Anyway, Alec. After enjoying the best donuts in New York, our crew heads over to Central Park. The place is abuzz with energy as folks get ready for the festival. Scaffolds and workers are everywhere. A sense of pride spreads across my chest. Ella and I did this. We came up with the idea for the new line and now it's about to happen. I looked to share them on with Ella, only she's standing a few yards behind the group, which wouldn't be a big deal, except Ella's staring off into space. My eyes widen. Not again. I step up to Ella. Are you okay? Ella blinks and refocuses on me. It's all good. I mean, it's actually great. I started to get pulled into the ether again, but then it just stopped. That's good. Which it is. So why do I feel like there's a hidden problem here? Ella shrugs. Who knows? Maybe we won't need that sword from the Queen of Hearts after all. Our water magic could just be settling in without any more trouble. I try to force a smile and fail. Let's hope. Ella winks. But along with hoping, we'll also go over to the Queen of Hearts and see about that bliss sword. I'm a safety first kind of girl. Voices carry through the park, interrupting our chat. You must listen to reason. That's Jacoby. No, I want Ella. The second speaker is someone I don't recognise. Ella and I step over. As it turns out, one of Ella's fairy buddies, Nyx, is sitting on a bench while glaring hot death at Agatha and Jacoby, which, in the way of fear, means that Nyx just smiles innocently at them. It takes years of painful experience to tell when a fairy is about to lose it. Agatha kneels before Nyx. Don't you hate having all these humans around? Why not take off another part of the city? Just for a few days. The look on Jacoby's face turns downright pleading. It's for your own safety. Nyx gestures towards Ella. I'd like to speak with one of my own kind. A fairy. Nyx flashes the rest of us a smile that's both lovely and lethal. The rest of you can leave now. Ella gives my hand a gentle squeeze. It's fine. We'll meet up at the Queen's Palace. I kiss her gently on the cheek. See you there. As I step away, I can feel Nyx's beautifully threatening gaze on my back. Fairies. Nothing to mess with, that's for sure. Ella. Nyx scooches over and pats the spot beside her on the bench. I sit down and wait. Over the years, Nyx has helped me on many capers. Like Gustav, she's great at Renaissance. Gustav can check out any spot at night. Nyx is great at tracking marks across the city during the day. Gustav works for food. Nyx does it because she enjoys being naughty. That's a fair for you. Prince Jacoby and his Sealy girl keep coming around, declares Nyx. They've talked to all the Fae in Central Park. There's an accusation in the way she says those words. I know you don't trust elves. Still, I've known Jacoby and Agatha for all my life. They're all trying to help. Nyx folds her arms over her chest. I'm not leaving. I don't care what an elf tells me to do. Come on, I state. You hate humans, and the place is overflowing with them. I fix her with a serious look. Why not go? When Nyx speaks again, her voice is barely a whisper. I've never talked about this before. Did you know I used to be part of the Queen's realm back in Fairy? No, I didn't. Do you know what happened there? I just found out. I picture the fireball rolling across the landscape and shiver. I'm so sorry. I lost everything. Everything in the Knave's fire. Afterward, the land was nothing but tar and dark magic. The realm was ruined. I'll never run away again. I never my lower lip. How much should I tell Nyx? In the end, I decide it's best to be honest. The knave might return, Nyx. I'm aware. You are? I know my queen better than most. If she's leaving Central Park, it's because of that monster. She forces on a carefree grin. Don't worry, the rest of the Fae are oblivious. I tilt my head. Nix is an adrenaline and mischief junkie, the same as I am. What do you plan to do? Nothing! Nix winks. A swirl of silver fairy dust surrounds her. When the sparkles fade, Nix is gone. I tried to summon her a few times. Nix ignores me. In the end, I set thoughts of Nix aside and head off to see the Queen. I find Alec, Jacoby and Agatha standing along the path to the palace. Are you waiting for me before trying the gate? I ask. Not exactly, replies Agatha. We already went to the palace. The Queen of Hearts is in residence today. Jacoby frowns. Only she won't let us in. Oh, I smile my face off. This is the type of situation I live for. Which is why we're waiting for you, adds Alec. I rub my hands together. One caper coming right up. Alec. Ella now moves into what I call her heist pose. This involves setting all her weight on her right leg, placing her fist on her ribs and scrunching up her mouth. A long moment pauses before she throws up her hands. I've got it. Ella turns towards Agatha. How's your moonlight magic? Depends on what you need me to do. Know much about a false moon? Asks Ella. This is an optical illusion, where the moon looks larger, near the horizon. Human scientists can't agree why it happens. Hint. It's all caused by Fae magic. Agatha nods. I know the basics. Think you can make something terrifying? We need the guards to look away for a few seconds. Agatha bobs her head, considering. I can do that. Jacoby sets his hand on Agatha's waist. I have a little magic that can help as well. They share a sweet smile. Agatha blushes. Thanks. She looks towards Ella and me. Get in place near the gate. Jacoby and I will do the rest. The Queen's palace sits on a small hill, the same as the human version. A thin walkway leads over a gully and into the entrance. The guards protect the main doorways, as always. Staying low, Ella and I sneak around the back of the palace. With careful movements, we crawl into the gully and hide under the walkway. The guards above us don't suspect a thing. Once we're in place, we wait. Inches above our heads, Jacoby and Agatha march across the access bridge. The guards, a man and a woman, wear both red armour and, well, irritated frowns. We've talked to you already, says the male guard. The Queen isn't seeing visitors today. Move on. In reply, Agatha summons a sphere of grey magic. It's semi-transparent and gives off a gentle light. As Agatha lowers her hands, the sphere raises into the sky and gets larger. Then it becomes the moon. The guard's eyes widen as Agatha's creation expands. That's an illusion, says the male, nothing more. Still, the pair are so focused on Agatha's moon, they aren't watching Jacoby as closely. The elf prince summons his own spear of magic, rolls it across the ground and into the woods beyond. The guards are distracted, but not entirely so. The female guard points to Jacoby's orb as it rolls away. We see that, she warns. Keep it up and there will be trouble, as the male guard. We don't want to fight you. There's a slight wobble in his voice. I don't blame them. Agatha and Jacoby are powerful rulers in their own rights. On one hand, attacking them for playing a prank could start a war. On the other hand, Agatha is powerful enough that her moon could destroy both the guards and half the palace. It's a tough decision, and a distracting one. Funny the things that come to mind when you're about to sneak into the palace of the Queen of Hearts. One of my hobbies is human magic. It doesn't involve the supernatural. Instead, what humans consider to be magic is really the art of distraction. And in this moment, Agatha and Jacoby are combining both fear magic with human distraction. Agatha's illusion kicks into high gear. Despite the sun, Agatha's creation takes over the sky. Shadows fall all over the place. Enough games, says the guard. We won't warn you again, says the female one. The moon tumbles from the sky and crashes onto the ground. The earth heaves, trees snap. Agatha's creation rolls toward the palace door. For their part, the guards hold their ground. Still, the two warriors wince as the moon closes in. That's our cue. Ella and I crawl up from the side gully, careful to step out onto the bridge behind the guards. Neither of them notices a thing. Moving at top speed, we race into the palace proper. Behind us, Agatha's moon reaches the edge of the walkway. The guards shiver, but stay at their posts. At the last moment, the moon vanishes. The fey version of Central Park returns to normal. Every tree stands safe and unharmed. Ha! Calls a female guard. We knew it was a game. Jacoby turns toward Agatha. I can't believe they didn't run. True, Agatha sighs. Oh, that was one of my best illusions. Go home, cries the male guard. Agatha and Jacoby trudge off into the forest, careful to keep their shoulders slumped in defeat. They really are an impressive pair. Ella and I speed through the reception room and check the main chambers on the building's first floor. We cross a few startled servants, but no one else. It isn't until we reach back hallways that we run across the Queen of Hearts herself. She does not look ready for visitors at all. Ella, in some ways, the Queen of Hearts looks as she always does, outside her throne room, tall and curvy with cocoa skin, brown hair and red velvet gown. There's one big difference though. This time the Queen holds a very large sword. Yipes. Alec and I stop in place. I force on a smile. Happy birthday, Your Majesty. The Queen frowns. I should have known you two would sneak past the guards. We must speak to you, explains Alec. I'm busy, retorts the Queen. As reactions go, this isn't as bad as it could be. The Queen holds a weapon, but she isn't waving it in our direction. Also, the way the Queen said those two words, I'm busy, carried the tone a mother might use with a naughty child. We know about the name, states Alec. And I've been inside the ether, I add. I am aware, says the Queen. The ether first pulled you in 4 days ago. I tilt my head. The Queen knew about the ether issues? I hadn't considered that before, although it does make sense. If the Queen knew the jail, then and where the knave was in the ether, I mean, it makes sense, right, that she'd know if her own prison were failing. Still, the Queen could have cast a divining spell to get the same information. How could you know I entered the ether? When the Queen next speaks, she states each word as if it were a sentence all by itself. Because I am me. The Queen raises the sword. The weapon glimmers with magic. Then it fades from sight. But before the blade completely vanishes, I catch a flash on the Queen's pointer finger. The glass signet ring. At this point, I want to cheer something like, ha! You knew I got into the ether because of that ring. And even better, we can use that to band together, create an obelisk sword and take down the knave. But I don't. Years of caper practice come in handy that way. Instead, I look over to Alec. With the barest of motions, I angle my head toward the Queen and hope Alec gets my meaning. Did you see that? Alec responds with a subtle nod. He saw it all right. Today's visit to the palace takes a new mission. When I did my remote high school classes, I'd often have to finish word math problems. How many apples can Billy eat before he's done? That kind of thing. In this case, a new problem appears. How will Alec and Ella separate the Queen from the signet ring? In such cases, I still find the best plan involves getting others to spill their guts. So I refocus on the Queen. I'm glad you understand about the ether. You must understand we're all in danger. See what I did there? I played a little dumb. Mostly because revealing that, I know the Queen used to date the knave opens up awkward questions. And at this point, long discussions about past relationships won't get us any closer to that signet ring. What's the danger? asks the Queen, as she smooths out her voice. Right, she knows the risk. The Queen just wants to know if we're aware. An evil elf is imprisoned inside the ether. It may break loose soon and attack the Fae of Central Park. The Queen's features turn unreadable. Anything else? The Glass Slipper Festival takes place tomorrow night, I add. It's really important to Alec's company. We need to be sure the Fae are safe. And so is everyone at the festival, the Queen sighs. Oh, my hunting party just slew an entire Grundle horde. In return for our services, we were given magic that seals up the ether forever. Happy birthday to me. Now you can go. What if the ether isn't fully sealed? I ask. Is there some way to defeat anyone who escapes? You must have some kind of magical weapon, adds Alec. And assuming you do, I say sweetly, we're wondering if you would please share it with us. We'll even make a bargain. There, I said the B word, bargain. Fail of that. On reflex, the Queen moves her hand behind her back. It's the same hand that wears the glass signet ring. I have nothing that could assist you. In other words, she won't share the ring. Oh well. The Queen folds her arms across her chest. And now, you may leave. Alec and I share another look. Without speaking a word, we both know what the other's thinking. We can't walk away when we're so close. Alec bows. And with all respect, Your Majesty, we must stay. There's too much at stake. Leave, repeats the Queen. A new voice sounds from behind. Come now, my love. They deserve to know more. Turning round, I see the speaker. Oh, lo and behold, it's the King of Hearts. Alec. The King steps closer. He has blonde hair, even features, and none of the drop-dead glamour of many royal elves. I like him instantly. Please, my love, tell them the full story. They've been pulled into our mess for no other reason than being born wardens. I recall the Queen and Knave kissing on the terrace. While the Knave sizzled with passion, the King exudes a calm confidence. I can see why the Queen chose her spouse. The man's kindness balances out the Queen's fire. Sure enough, the Queen's hard features melt into a smile. You're right. The regents move to stand side by side. We, Fae, have unusual gifts, begins the Queen, especially those of us who rule. For my part, I have a unique history and knowledge of the ether. Years ago, the Colonel asked me to teach him about it. I sent the old dragon away. More recently, the Colonel asked me again. This time, he wanted to know where the Warden's magic had gone. Once more, I got him to leave. I see, says Ella with a grin. You used Fae doublespeak to convince the Colonel you didn't know anything. Correct, states the Queen. Even after your visit to the pyramids, the Colonel wasn't aware the ether was an actual realm. This suited my purposes at the time. You see, I didn't want anyone interfering with the ether. The King gestures towards Ella. You may have met a four-horned man there. Yes, I did. He's my brother, says the King, the Knave of Hearts. Indeed, we royals gain special powers. For my brother, nothing in fairy or earth can hurt him. It's impossible to even contain him. My brother also wears a horrible temper. He can become a different person when enraged. Something had to be done to keep the Queen safe. Something had to be done to keep the Queen safe. That's an understatement. The Knave burned down the Queen's entire realm. That's what you call borderline psychotic. In the end, I found solution, says the Queen. I imprisoned the Knave in the ether. A family relic assisted me. Here the Queen absently rubs her invisible signet ring. Then, you wardens released so much magic. The Knave's prison was compromised. We didn't realize that would happen. Ella explains. I'm aware, the Queen states. If I could do it over again, I'd tell the Colonel everything from the start. This whole nightmare might have been avoided. The King wraps his arm around the Queen's shoulder. That's all in the past, he continues. What's important now is how the ether's been at risk. The Queen's relic can open and close the ether but not fix the situation of so much warden magic making it unstable. To fix the situation, we need allies. I knew the Colonel would aid me, as the Queen, which he did. You don't need to worry about the ether anymore. We've siphoned off enough to keep it stable. So you remove some ether? I recap. How can we know that'll work? Allow me to show you, says the Queen. I call this the ether's key. She pulls out a small vial from her pocket. Her brows lift. I've seen bottles like those before. Alec, that's a genie bottle, says Ella. True, agrees the Queen. The Colonel called it a personal favour and approached one of the gins. Let me guess, says Ella. Sky help you? She's Ella's friend, and a bit of a softy when it comes to aiding others, not a common trait among the Fae. That's right, confirms the king. Sky gave us a genie bottle for containing the ether. The vial wobbles in the queen's grasp. It doesn't like being trapped, she reports, so if it ever did get loose, it would be even more unstable. One day, we'll set it free, says the king. Nothing should be contained against its will, even magic. And you're certain it's safe? Asks Ella. The vial always stays on my person. The queen resets the bottle into her pocket. Nothing could be more secure. The queen's words rattle around the back of my head. There's a warning in them, but I can't quite place what it could be. Ella still stares at the vial like it's a stick of dynamite instead of a supernatural lockbox. How can we know that it's really working? A fair question, says the queen. About 20 minutes ago, the ether called you. The summons failed. Am I correct? Ella nods. How did you know? The queen raises the bottle once more. At the time, this container glowed blue. Over time, it will become even more efficient at blocking the ether. And now you understand, says the king. There's no need to worry anymore. This matter with my brother is our responsibility. The queen and I have taken care of it. Doesn't that put your minds at ease? The king looks at us expectantly. Clearly he's waiting for us to agree that everything is fine. Ella and I don't say a word. Know this, as the Queen of Hearts. Bringing the two of you together was a product of my magic. I unite souls, and I protect the love I forge. We won't allow anything bad to happen to either of you, as the king. He's rapidly becoming my favourite elf, after Jacoby and, obviously, Agatha. Thank you. Ella shifts her weight from foot to foot. But, prompts the queen, I don't know. Ella huffs a shaky breath. It's just... Oh, we normally have a lot more drama in situations like this. The queen smiles. Maybe this time you'll simply have more laughter. Not every encounter is trouble. It's not like your life is poisoned. Ella forces a grin. Maybe not. Now, the queen claps. You must return to your normal lives. She wags a pointed finger. Only be sure to save me a piece of that cake tomorrow. After all, today's my birthday. Ella shoots me a questioning look. What do you say? This is your call, Alec? I set my hands in my pockets and rock on my heels. This is a huge decision. So much has happened in the past few minutes. I must ensure I'm not missing anything. The queen pins me with a pointed stare. You will hold the festival tomorrow, won't you? I run through everything one last time. The ether's key, the werewolf pack protecting Central Park, and the signet ring. I'd feel better if we had the signet ring, but there's still time for Ella and I to figure out something for that. Even without it, there's enough for me to give the answer to the queen. Yes, I state. I exchange a quick look with Ella. There's no need for us to share a long conversation. Both of us know what we must do. Get the queen's signet ring. An idea appears. I clear my throat. I'm no good at speeches, still. I wish to take a moment to thank you for watching over me and Ella. I suspect you've helped out many people such as ourselves. Few of us have the chance to express our appreciation. Allow me to speak for everyone you've united when I say thank you. The queen's eyes glisten. You're very welcome. Ella rushes to envelope the queen in a big hug. Thanks so much. The queen pats Ella's shoulders. Enough of that. Go enjoy the festival. I grin. We will. After shaking hands with the king, Ella and I march out of the palace at brisk pace. Once we're safely outside, I whisper to Ella. Did you get it? I asked. Ella winks. Easy peasy. I started slipping rings from fingers when I was 8. I exhale. Perfect. Now the queen has the troublesome ether contained. We have a way to fight the knave if he escapes. So the festival is really on, asked Ella. Oh yes, I replied. 100%. Ella. It's really here. The Glass Slipper Festival. The event has barely begun and already the great lawn in Central Park is packed with people. A massive stage fills one end of the long and rectangular space. Kiosks, food trucks, tents line the raftery. Above them, massive screens hang from metal frames. The red carpet is set up on the other short end of the rectangle. Although the sun has gone down a while ago, this area shines like midday. Cameras flash as everybody who's anybody strolls down the red carpet and into the festival. Or rather, they speed it nearby VIP tent. Alec and I watch from the sidelines. We haven't made our entrance yet, and I'm trying to look calm about the fact. Bright, Agatha and I spent hours today getting ready. Even with all the support, I still feel exposed and undressed, which is simply not logical. It's just that I'd be much more confident in disguise right now. A gorilla costume would be ideal, or a plumber's onesie. I'd even wear one of my FBI uniforms. Hey, I'm not picky. For this part, Alec sports his classic jeans, sport coat, and calm CEO vibe. It's his casual stance, combined with his sunglasses and baseball cap that makes everyone wonder, is that really Alec Lasham? I re-smell my already perfect dress. It's a fitted sheath of crimson silk. When I saw it in the store, I thought it was 70s retro and hot. Of course, now it seems like every chick here is wearing red. Stay cool, Ella. You can wear your gorilla costume when you get home. Strangely enough, the thought really helps. Alex steps into my line of vision, interrupting my silvery fiesta. He slowly eyes me from head to foot. You're almost perfect. I do a double take. Almost? What? Alec reaches into his sport coat and pulls out a long velvet box. That's a distinct shade of purple. I shake my head. Alec, you don't need to do this. As a matter of fact, I do. He opens the jewelry box to show off a ruby necklace. 3 lines of small red stones loop and twist about each other. It's a design that we prototyped, but didn't have time to complete. It's beautiful. And the gems also hold a protection charm. Alec takes out the necklace and sets it around my throat. I cast the spells myself. Protection? I give Alec one of those side eyes. What do you think's going to happen? I hold up my right hand and twiddle my fingers. Although no one can see the band, both Alec and I know the truth. I'm still wearing the glass signet ring. A wise woman once told me, enjoy the best, but plan for the worst. I grin. Hey, that one was me. Alec takes off his sunglasses. I've got no reason to doubt the Queen of Hearts. And you're wearing the glass signet ring. Still, we've been honest with each other. You've got to know I'm anxious about tonight. It's a big deal. We've got all this company and all. Hey, I didn't give the company an extra necklace. Every line of Alec's face pulls tight with intensity. I know you can take care of yourself. Still, out of everyone here, I'll always be the most concerned about you. I brush my fingers across the jewels around my throat. I spent so many years of my own. Some nights I wonder if anyone would notice if I just disappeared. Alec's sentiment is just as precious as this necklace. Thank you, I say. My voice is rough. And I kiss him. Alec, I soak in the sight of Ella in a red necklace. The jewels aren't as beautiful as my woman, but they are close. From our hiding spot in the back of the crowds, we watch the flow of celebrities on the red carpet. Ella and I have a few minutes to kill before it's our turn. I pull up my cell and run through a quick checklist. General festival stuff. Running like a charm. From cameras to models and everything in between. Animates hanging backstage with Agatha and Jacoby, the lady, on standby with the IT guys. Still can't believe she's keeping a word. And co-hosting the stage show via remote. Maybe Grayson is right. The lady can't pass up a chance for some spotlight. Knox and Bry. Well, in uniform, they're packed discreetly. Police at the park. Knox keeps sending me angry texts about how people aren't where they should be. Bry says to ignore him, so I do. Before us, the red carpet empties out of the last few celebs. A sense of anticipation hangs in the air. That's our cue. I looked at Ella. Ready to walk the red carpet? She cracks her neck. So ready. I've decided to treat this as another caper with 2 fingers. She gestures between her eyes and the crowd. I'm fooling them all into thinking I'm the Queen of Romania. I think I could pull it off. Setting my hand on the base of her spine, I lead Ella to the red carpet entrance. I've been doing this since I was a kid, so walking and waving doesn't seem like a big deal to me. But Ella takes it on like an art form. Cameras flash, reporters ask for comments. Elle and I wave and smile and walk. It's glorious. Once we're done, I'm thrilled to see the flush of excitement in my woman's eyes. How was it? I ask. A rush, she grins. We'll have to do that again soon. I can pick the new, country each time. I chuckle. I love that idea. Ready to head backstage. The show's about to begin. Ella beams with delight. Let's do it. And in this moment, anything seems possible. Perhaps Ella and I can usher into a new age for La Charme ourselves. As my woman said a few days ago, it's all worth a try. Back to Ella. After the red carpet fiesta, Alec and I head to the performance. In short order, we're waiting in the wings. The stage itself is long and rectangular. Towering monitor panels line the back wall and serve as a high-tech curtain. Right now, all the screens show a single message. Welcome to the Glass Slipper Festival. While we wait for the show to start, Alec chats up his team. I can see why he's obsessed with helping these people keep their jobs. They're hella efficient and smiley. Sometimes the company seems more like a happy cult of bejeweled hippies than a global capitalist powerhouse. A single worry keeps prickling in the back of my mind. Grayson. She hasn't texted me when she'll arrive at the festival. Still, I'm sure she'll show up eventually. Grayson's not the time to promise and bail. I tiptoe up to the edge of the curtain and peer out into the crowd. My thought is to find Grayson, but one thing becomes instantly clear. There's no chance I'll see any individual faces. From this high up on the stage, the lawn is nothing but a sea of people that stretch off to the horizon. It's more like a rock concert than a fashion event. For a moment, I just soak in the wonder of this particular moment. Alex steps up to my side. We did it, he whispers. I shoot him a sly look. Almost. Music strikes up and Alex saunters on stage. With every step, the man simply exudes energy and charisma. The hover cameras fly about him, grabbing the best angles. The screen bank behind shows images of the La Charme fashions through the ages. I can't believe it. This is real. Alec slaps on his best surfer boy smile. Good evening and welcome to the first Glass Slipper Festival. A roar of approval erupts from the crowd. I'm Alec, CEO of La Charme Jewelers. Tonight, we'll introduce our new line of affordable and fashionable adornments for everyone. You'll see our first collection in more than 100 years. Another round of cheers follows. Afterward, we have a special treat for you. The collection is inspired by the work on magical objects called animates. Thanks to some enchanted cameras, you'll get to see these supernatural animates as they really appear to those of us in the Magicorum. And you'll also meet the animates leader, Ella Cinder. I grip the curtain more tightly. People don't know me as well as they do Alec. Will anyone be excited about that part of the show? The crowd cheers again. It's the loudest roar yet. Some of that worry seeps from my bones. At least the audience likes the idea of me. That's a start. Alec raises his arms, but there's more. The lovely Lady R has agreed to share her live commentary. A familiar image takes over the wall of the screens behind Alec. It's the lady. At this point, the crowd loses their collective minds. The cheering becomes deafening. Squares of light cut through the deepening night as folk lift up their cells. Thank you for the warm welcome, says the lady. The audience quiets. I'd like to kick things off with one of my most popular segments, Your Favourite Things. As most of us know, this is where I cast a little spell, see what's hot and what's not, out there in the world. Tonight, my magic will answer a question. What item does Alec La Charme most value now? A bit of unease winds through me. This isn't what the lady said she'd do tonight. Still, what's the worst that can happen? On screen, red light reflects from the lady's cupped hands. Even though it isn't logical, I go on tiptoes to see what she holds. It doesn't work, of course. The lady shoots. The audience knowing look. What do you think it is, people? Folks yell out so many answers at once, it's impossible to hear any suggestion. The easy money is that it's a phone, asks the lady. A memory appears. The lady did the same trick at the Apex Towers. That time, she really did summon Alex Cell. Now the lady raises her hands and everyone can see what she holds. My stomach sinks. It isn't a phone. The lady frowns, when she pushes a fuzzy object toward the camera. This seems to be some kind of container. At first the image is a blur. Forever seems to, take forever. Nothing focuses. What the hell is the lady clasping? When I see it, every corner of my soul chills over with worry. She holds the ether's key. The lady slowly turns the vial, so the cameras can get all angles. There's no question about it. This is the exact same vial the Queen of Hearts showed us yesterday. Get a close look at this one, viewers? I bet it's part of tonight's new line of goodies. She parts her hand. There's a crash off screen and the vial tumbles to the floor. The world seems to stop. She did not just do that. What a shame, says the lady, although she doesn't seem disappointed in the least. I dropped it. I cross my fingers and hope for the best. Maybe the vial is fine. The thing looked pretty sturdy when we saw it at the palace. After leaning over, the lady brings the container back up to the cameras. Everything appears to be fine. What a relief. She holds the vial beside her face, like she's in a commercial for hand soap. Am I right, Alec? Is this item another part of the new Lasham line? Did I expose a secret too early? Perhaps I ruined your day unexpectedly. She's really enjoying this too much. No, says Alex smoothly. It's just part of the current collection. Perhaps another year. It is rather lovely, though. The lady launches into a speech, where she shares how excited she is to see the real collection, but I can't hear a word. Instead, all my focus stays right on the ether's key. A crack runs along the front of the glass. Even worse, a thin wisp of blue mist twists out from the surface. That must be some of the ether. Panic. Just panic sings through my nervous system. Still, I force myself to stay calm. Chill out, Ella. This is nothing to worry about. After all, what will a little puff of smoke do? It can't be enough to set the navel loose. Suddenly the screens turn off. Park lights flicker and die. Everything plunges into darkness. My breath catches. Lady R, what have you done? Alec. The lady wanted revenge for our caper at the apex, so she dropped the vial. It cracked. Now the lights have gone out. This leaves me standing in the middle of a darkened stage, waiting for all the electronics to come back to life. They don't. The crowd grumbles, but no one sounds too worried. I take that as a good sign. Sure, the IT folks will get everything working again soon. This must be a strange glitch, nothing more. Boom. 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 Great class of thunder shattered the night air. A line of lightning arcs onto stage. Only this bolt isn't just a flash. It hangs in place. Next it widens. Through the bright electricity I view another world. The realization hits me with the power of a fist. This isn't lightning. It's a portal. Through the makeshift window, I see trees towering off into the distance, which means this is not any gateway either. It's the magic forest. Before only Alec could see this place, now I can make out every detail. Then he steps through. The Knave of Hearts. The fiend appears just as he did in the memory gem, a 7-foot-tall Goliath in red robes. Every inch of him exudes pure rage. The knave extends his arm. A sphere of power appears in the palm. Adrenaline spikes through me as I realize the truth. He's casting something. I reach into my pocket and pull out gemstone I use for fireball attacks. The knave is too quick for the counterspell. Fast as a heartbeat, the orb of magic stretches out into a magic staff. I brace myself, waiting for a strike. Yet the knave doesn't attack. Instead, he uses his new weapon to sphere the stage floor. Concentric circles of red mist and power move out from the staff, reminding me of the waves made by dropping a large stone in a still pond. The magic rolls across Central Park. As the energy touches each human, they freeze in place. One by one, they vanish. Hella had described seeing this happen outside the apex. Still, it's one thing to imagine people dematerializing before you. It's another to actually see it happen. I inspect the staff more closely. It pulses with energy right where the sharp end touches the stage. The casting is powerful but simple. If I can pull that staff free from the stage floor, the human audience will return to Central Park. Assuming I can get rid of the knave in the meantime, no one may ever know he appeared. I can simply claim a lightning strike or a power outage before continuing with the show. Once the humans are gone, the Fair Central Park glow with red light. Hundreds of pixies shine out from their hiding places on tree branches. Water naiads send out crimson brightness from under their lake homes. More red light leaks from under the rocks. This is where trolls undoubtedly hide. My heart sinks. It's just as Jacoby said. The knave doesn't see humans as anything but obstacles to his revenge, so he's removed them. Now his spell pinpoints those the knave wishes to destroy. With the fey glowing, the knave tilts his head back and lets out a roar of pure fury. Branches rattle, leaves fall, tiny fey weep, a sound that's like the tinkling of sad little bells. I recall how the queen said the knave transforms when he's in a temple. She wasn't kidding. A moment later, the knave no longer resembles an elf royal in fine robes. Instead, he becomes a pale demon with fire in his eyes and heavy armor around his entire body. The knave kneels. A wall of flame erupts behind him, sending a blazing panel into the skies. The humans are gone, so they don't see this display. But the fair Central Park watch in horror. They take to the skies and race away across the now empty greens. Run all you want, says the knave. You won't get far. He has the final statement with extra malice. I have another quarry to kill before hunting you all down. Ella, everything happens so quickly, I can't take it all in. It begins with the lady breaking the ether's key, the knave appears, makes the crowd vanish, and finally, the nearby fey glow with red lights that essentially read, "Kill me here." My mind remains a blank of shock as one of those gleaming fey leaps on stage and flies toward the knave at top speed. It's a fairy the size of a girl with butterfly-style wings. A small dagger is gripped tightly in her hand. My dream, like his, deepens as I see what it is. Nyx. Leave my queen alone! Nyx swoops her blade toward the knave's throat. In a single swift movement, the knave runs Nyx through with his sword. Then he flicks his wrist to toss her off stage. The look on the warrior's face is the same one I might have seen on someone swatting a bug. More than anything else, it's the knave's expression that snaps me out of stupor. Rage heats his veins. How dare the knave end Nyx's life? At all, let alone with such casual malice. Closing my eyes, I focus on the magic within me. My warden power crackles inside my soul. Next, I focus on the glass signet ring. The band responds to my warden power. I sense that it's ready to become a sword I need when the time is right. Only I won't make the same mistake Nyx did. Her death has taught me something. I'll sneak on stage, and I'll reveal the Abyss sword when I absolutely need it. I nod once, the plan made. I rush on stage. Some part of me is aware that Agatha and Jacoby are running behind me, begging me to stop. I sense Brynox and their pack racing toward the stage. They want to help, but I know what must be done. I saw the Queen of Hearts put the knave into the prison in the first place. I can do it again. Beside the knave, Alex stands strong and ready. He isn't casting spells or telling me to run away, like so many times before. He knows my plan at the same moment I created. Despite the fear and sorrow in his eyes, he raises his fist high and urges me on. Do it, Ella. I rush up to the knave. The demon eyes me with the same disinterest that he gave Nyx, all while fingering the hilt of his blade. At the last possible moment, I summon the Abyss sword and slice the ground before him. What happens next is just what I saw with the Queen of Hearts. The wooden stage falls away beneath the knave, revealing the magic forest below. An electrical sense of triumph moves through me. It's all going to plan. But then it isn't. The Queen attacked the knave on solid ground. I stand on a flimsy stage. As the knave careens through the floor, more wooden slats give way. The knave falls through another realm. I tumble down, right behind him. Alec. When I first saw Ella run on stage, I could have cheered. Both of us saw how the Queen used the Abyss sword in the past, and Ella was going in for the same kind of sneak attack. Only before the Queen struck the knave on solid ground. This is a hollow stage. How could I have been so stupid? Ella has fallen from the magic forest. The Abyss sword tumbled through with her. Now the stage is back to normal, only with a few loose wooden slats. I start issuing orders, rapid fire. Agatha Jacoby, try to open the portal to the ether. Knock Spry, send it back to the palace. Drag the Queen out if necessary. Everyone gets to work, myself included. For my part, I try to summon the Queen or the Colonel using a spell. Those two came up with the vial in the first place. There must be something else we can do for Ella. Precious minutes tick by. None of the spells work. Nox and Barry return quickly with the news from the pack. I'm pulling for it to be good. I try to explain in my text. Nox begins. People aren't where they should be. Another patrol just checked the Queen's palace. She's gone. My stomach drops in my toes. That can't be right. Nox sets his hand on my shoulder. You have to face the truth. The Queen of Hearts may have run off. I can't say I blame her, it's Brian. We all know her history with the knave. Agatha and Jacoby approach. We can't keep trying the same portal spells over and over, says Jacoby. They aren't working. Agatha nods. Plus casting them is using up all the power we might need for something that really could help. I pound my leg in frustration. Why did I let Ella take the signet ring? If I had it, I could have summoned the Bliss Sword. I'd be the one in the Magic Forest right now. You don't have any warden magic, says Jacoby. I doubt it would have worked for you. Not without lots of extra magic anyway. I shake my head. Then I should have just kept it myself. Ella wouldn't be alone with that monster. None of us had any idea she'd fall through the stage, says Nox. Stop blaming yourself. I take a deep breath. I'll try. Saying those words reminds me of Ella. Hope sparks in my heart. What should we do next? Asks Agatha. I don't know yet, I reply. But there must be something. There has to be something. I cannot lose Ella. And that's the next part of our wonderful Alec and Ella. It's not going very well, is it? Why does Ella and Alec always end up in this kind of trouble? Amazingly, they fall into it all the time. Ah, dear me. Many blessings. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel and to the continuation of Ella and Alec. And it's at a crucial moment where, unfortunately, she seems to have fell into the same portal as the evil Knave of Hearts. And, of course, any snoring in the background's just Dougal, okay? So don't mind him. Back to Ella. It feels like I tumble forever before landing on the ground. All the air's knocked from my lungs and my dress is shredded. Still, I've kept my grip on the Bliss Sword. That's got to count for something. With wobbly movements, I rise to stand again. The knave waits nearby in his mega armor. The guy doesn't even seem winded. In this moment, I have limited choices. And namely, I can fight or flee. I'm going for door number 2. I slice the Abyss blade through the air, trying to open another portal that will lead back to Central Park, or anything on Earth, really. I can be flexible here. Yet no matter how many times I swipe the blade, nothing magical happens. I tap into my inner power. There's no energy at all inside me. All the Fate, Enchanter and Warden energy is gone. A foul taste creeps into my mouth as a memory appears. The last time I visited the Magic Forest, I tried casting a bunch of spells. I couldn't do it then either. The knave said supernatural powers don't work here. At the time, I didn't really care, because that lack of magic was keeping the knave in his secret prison. Now I do care, deeply. My big plan was to use the Abyss Sword to flee. Damn. The knave races toward me. Sadly, he's still looking mighty demon-like in his new armor with his massive sword raised high. Oh well, the Abyss Sword isn't magical enough to open a portal, but it's still a blade from the ether. Based on what the knave said, this might be the only weapon that can actually kill the guy. One way to find out. The knave brings down his heavy sword. I block the blow with my smaller blade. And I'm fighting like a boss for all of 2 seconds before my blade snaps in two. Next, the knave punches me in the stomach. Hard. It's a total dick move, and it works really well. I gasp for breath while the knave kicks aside what's left of my Abyss Sword. My back slams onto the ground as the knave tackles me. He sets all his weight on my torso while his hands wrap around my throat. The thought strikes me that Alec gave me a necklace of protection, and even that won't help. The knave's fingers tighten around my windpipe, my lungs burn for air, and he says that now is a great time to get chatty, because of course he does. Such a shame you came alone, declares the demon knave. I've had years to booby trap every inch of this forest. The Queen left me here to protect myself from so many monsters. I would have loved to use my creations on your friends, but they'll still suffer, won't they? He leans in closer and says his last bit of nastiness. Because you're poison, Cinder, and you know it. Alec. I've speed cast through every spell I can think of. The only stones left in my pockets are now actual rocks. Agatha and Jacoby have been extreme casting too. Nothing has worked. The pair look exhausted. We're out of options. The night turns silent and solemn. I remember Ella, says Bragg quickly. She was my best friend. She smelled good and made Alec happy, said Knox. Agatha sniffles. Growing up, Ella always smiled, no matter what. Jacoby's voice breaks in as he adds his thoughts into the mix. Ella was my best friend. Everyone looks to me. Clearly they want me to add to the elegy. That's not happening. What are you, crazy? You can't give up. There must be something. We have to stay alert and think. The park lies covered in what normally passes for nighttime in New York. Now true darkness falls over us. Something is casting a massive shadow over Central Park, and I might have a pretty good idea what it might be. I cut my hand by my mouth. We're over here, Colonel. Back to Ella. Every inch of my body screams for air. I thrash under the knee, but it's no use. The guy weighs a ton. My ears ring. Spots form in my vision. Not long now. I've been in close calls before. Still, this is the first time scenes from my life actually flash through my mind. I picture my parents swaying in sync as they stock shelves in our family store. I Got You, babe, plays on the loudspeaker. Next, I recall hanging with Bri. We wear matching pajamas while eating, or wait, in ice cream. The next memory isn't an image as much as a feeling. Warm spreads through my chest as I share my first kiss with Alec. Although my mind isn't ready to die, my body stops fighting. My peripheral vision collapses into a tunnel. How I wish I could look upon Alec. Instead, all I can see are fiery red eyes of a demon knave. Wish you could cast a spell, don't you? The demon knave's voice sounds, far away. Your magic will never work here. Suddenly, Alec is here. I must be having hallucinations, because I can clearly see my boyfriend pull down a nearby branch and slam it onto the demon knave's head. Whack! Alec glares at the demon knave. Physics work everywhere, asshole. Pressure lifts from my chest and the demon knave falls over, unconscious. I pull in rough gasps of air. Alec crouches beside me. Ella, are you all right? I'm too busy breathing to try and speak, so I simply nod in reply. Instead, I brace myself for the inevitable. Here's where Alec realizes that I'm poison. Being with me means a lifetime of knaves and tree branches, of loss and misery. Now is when it all breaks apart. Only it doesn't. I declare that Alec grins at this, but that's like describing the sun as warm. Alec beams. He's jubilant. Waves of pure adrenaline and adoration radiate out from my deepest parts of the soul. Alec's affection connects to hidden places within me. Links form. Possibilities open. A realization begins to take shape. Something new moves closer. And yet, it's still out of reach. I catch my breath. Thank you, Alec. I'm all better now. And I mean it. Alec, when the Colonel landed in Central Park as a dragon, I finally saw a chance to save Ella. And the fact that the King and Queen of Hearts also arrived, that made prospects much better. Between the three of them, they figured out how to allow me to follow Ella into the magic forest. Once I arrived, I found Ella being choked by the demon knave, grabbing the branch and knocking him out. Was more of a reflex than a well-thought-out plan. Still, it's all ended with Ella breathing. That's what matters. Speaking of Ella, her focus snaps to something just over my shoulder. Rustling sounds behind me. I lower my voice to barely a whisper. He's coming, isn't he? I ask. No question who he is. The demon knave. Ella nods. I meant what I said about grabbing the branch. It wasn't a super advanced scheme. The demon knave was hurting Ella. I took him down. That's not to say I didn't have any plan. All of which is why I pulled the broken abyss sword from my waist band. I picked the thing up when I first landed. It wasn't as satisfying as a branch to the head, but now, as the weapons go, this thing is looking pretty good. Lifting the blade, I set the hilt onto Hella's hands. The thing is more of a dagger now, but hopefully it's still enough of a weapon to get the job done. Ella grips the handle and nods slightly. She's totally on board. I feel more than hear the demon knave approach. One thing I'll say for the guy, he's certainly stealthy. For the part, Ella keeps her gaze locked with mine. A single glance in the wrong direction could give everything away. Heat curls up my back as I sense the demon knave growing closer. Closer. No! Ella cries. I shift to the side. As Ella swings her blade upward, it tears right through the demon knave's armour. As in the stuff were made of paper. The weapon lodges deep in his chest. The demon knave moans and falls over. I check his pulse. He's gone, I declare. At those words, the ground below us opens up. Ella and I tumble through the air and land in Central Park. The Colonel stands over us in his Clark Gable-looking glory. There you are, drawls the Colonel. The Queen of Hearts steps closer. You killed him, didn't you? I told you, sugar, explains the Colonel. They wouldn't be able to come back if they hadn't done the job. The Queen keeps her gaze fixed on me and Ella. I need to hear the words. He's gone, says Ella. Thank you, states the Queen. A mixture of relief and sorrow twists across her lovely features. The King wraps his arm about his wife's shoulder, and they march back to their palace. Now, the Colonel rubs his palms together. When I came here, someone told tales about a celebration. Y'all better hop to it now. He wants a celebration straight away. Typical Colonel style, right, guys? Back to Ella. The Colonel wants the festival back. We're only too happy to deliver. Turns out, the demon knave's staff still remains jammed in the stage. After Alec removes it, the crowd returns, and a very plausible excuse is given about flash storms and glitchy equipment. The crowd buys every word. The show is back on. For her part, the lady pretends another goldfish met an early demise. She tries to bag on us again, but Grayson arrives with some best of clips. Every so often, we pop the lady in saying something is phenomenal, and no one is ever the wiser. I worry that Grayson will get in trouble when the festival is over, but she insists there's a plan. I still hope that's true. The animates become a huge hit. I think some of them may start their own live casts. And the new jewelry line is even more popular. The fashion show ends in a blur of activity and high spirits. Someone pumps tunes through the loudspeakers. Knocks prime their pack, take their human forms and dance. Agatha and Jacoby find Nix. She was injured, not killed. And heal her with magic. As a result, the Faries of Central Park decide that my stepsister and her boyfriend are honorary members of the Queen's realm. They all take to hanging in the trees and singing, "It's a very fair thing to do." As the party winds down, I pull Alex aside for a walk in the more quieter parts of the park. As we step along, my thoughts turn back to the moment Alex saved my life in the magic forest. In the moment, a realization stayed just out of reach. Now that revelation appears to me in perfect clarity. You're rather silent, says Alec. Something on your mind? I nod. Back in the forest. I thought I might die. You saved me. Afterward, I saw your face and it all led to this. I scan the nearby trees, hoping the right word might appear. It doesn't. It's hard to explain. Take your time, says Alec. We stop under an arch of trees. You've told me how much I mean to you, I begin. I knew it, yet never fully felt it. But in the woods, I finally discovered the truth. You don't care if I can be poisoning your life. You love me through any pain. Alec wraps his arms around my waist. Don't forget. I bring my own set of trouble too. This isn't about living an ideal life. It's about facing things together. I don't care what happens, so long as it's you and me. A soul-deep kind of love envelopes my heart. I understand that now. I tap my chest. In here. There's nothing else that matters. Alec's smile becomes as bright as it appeared back in the woods. Kiss me. So, of course, I do. Wowzers. So that is the part of that adventure. And what an adventure it was. Of course, there is another tale that we can go on to now, which is Towers and Teats. I'm not sure what it's about, though. I guess, powers and teeth does speak a little bit of Rapunzel to me and Grayson, don't you think? That maybe it will go on to that? I think so. I think it will go on to like Grayson and Lady, whoever she is, Lady R. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this wonderful journey of the next part of Ella and Alec's story, and many blessings.